All right. And we're live and welcome to a Monday Night Mystery. And I am joined by some of my amazing friends who have volunteered their evenings to see if we can match wits with the great Sherlock Holmes, which looking around, I do think we need more alcohol to help with that, but we'll see. By way of introduction, she's been here a couple weeks ago. She's one of the amazing dancers and instructors with Motor City Irish Dance. And on top of that, a brilliant advanced placement science teacher, and that would be Liz.
Hello.
And then coming around, TS is a dear friend and artist and illustrator and preschool teacher and fellow redhead. Joining us for the first time on a mystery, Donald Dennis, also known as Waltz Fio.
Hello.
And then the last, but certainly not the least in my mind, the single greatest thing ever to enter my life, aside from a very large endowment that got me through college, is my beautiful wife, Jennifer, a.k.a. Genesis. I mean, let's be honest here. I had to go to
Bold
college.
words. Yes.
Are we ready for this, guys?
Yeah, no.
Our goal is one night, right?
Yes. One night.
One night.
You had one of these go on more than one night?
Yes. Our last mystery, we got to the 3-hour mark and we all looked at each other and went, okay, so let's pin it and come back in a week.
Wow.
Yep.
And the following week at the 3-hour mark, we went, okay,
We're almost done. We'll just guess.
let's just guess.
So you're saying that like that first game, I just got lucky and it was, yeah.
No, I think there was a certain brilliance to be had. Because our score last time out of a possible 100 was 7.
That's the number to beat tonight.
I feel good about that. I think we can do this. We can do this.
Okay, Vampire wants to. How are we all doing tonight? Everyone check in. What's our temperatures tonight? Are we feeling good?
Oh, yes.
Like it's 11 degrees outside.
COVID free.
97.6.
No, I mean, okay, Liz could take that
COVID free
literally.
and
but-
Hey.
Yeah. Good.
Pretty good. Pretty good, yeah.
All right, cool
I
beans.
get hideous comments in my dance class tonight, so I feel good.
What was that?
My comments in my dance class were less than awful, so I feel good.
Hooray, less than awful.
Yeah.
Less than awful. Hey, you know what?
Hopefully we
there's
can
a
be that
band
way all
name.
night long.
When you're my age, you take what you can get, let me tell you.
Well,
Irish dance teachers, they're never going to tell you it's good. They're always going to tell you what you should fix. If they tell you less bad things to fix, then that's for the win. And so I feel good.
That's true. That's true.
okay.
Rob's contemplating that like,
He's like, this has not gone already how I wanted it to.
No, I'm more like, gee, I pretty much spend nothing but hours answering emails if I ever give out less than an A. So.
yeah, but this is not school. This is a whole different story.
Yeah.
You
And
try to
even-
make an excuse. He says, I don't want to hear your story. I don't want to hear it. I don't care. If your arm isn't falling off on the floor, then get out there and let's go.
Dance is so harsh.
I love it.
Yet they rush back to it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, something's working over there because you've got my 13-year-old boy anxious to do it. So
Who is
I'll
that?
take it. All right. So as a recap of how the game works, for everyone that hasn't seen one of these before, I'm going to read passages out of our casebook.
Oh, I need a notebook.
We're going to discuss where in London we think we should go. And then wherever that is, we turn to the appropriate page. So it's like a choose your own adventure on steroids. The only catch is we don't end every passage with, you can go here, or there, or here. Instead, we're left going, the hell are we supposed to do with that? And it makes for a good case. I'll give Liz a second to come on back, and then we'll get this fired up. And we'll see what we're up to.
Here.
You're here. You're here. The date, by the way, today, if you want to use the newspapers, I sent them out. So everyone has access to the distance play files. And today's date for our case is the 26th of June, 1890. I'll do my best to take notes over on the Jamboard. I'm 95% certain that most of them will get erased because somebody will be typing over them.
I have yet to figure out Jamboard, so more power to you.
Me both.
I'm getting the hang of it. It's not my favorite. You don't have enough colors and markers, but yeah, neither here nor there. Shall we begin?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, we're having cat show and tell. My cat's across the room staring at me evilly, so she'll be here shortly to steal my pen.
Cats will come and go.
That's the only one. You might see the other two. Probably not. But if I pick her up when she comes near me, she doesn't immediately go down and start biting my pant leg. Because if you're not petting her, she bites your clothes and pulls them to try and get you to pet her. At least she doesn't bite you, which is good.
That's good.
Good.
Indeed.
That is very pretty now.
People like this.
Claire's pretty antisocial. She's the only one I get
You
to
if you're
pick
not
up.
petting.
Aww.
That's what mine does. She just puts her paw on your face. She just puts her paw. But if it's any other part of your body, she puts her paw, and then the claws just go.
Oh.
She doesn't pull, but she just ding. You're like, oh, yep.
Kitty, I
Okay.
can't
You
take
know
notes
she's
if that's where you're
there.
sitting.
But at least she doesn't do that to your face. It's just a pat, like that, and like.
Wake up!
Well,
Maybe not.
Claire has moved from my belly to the note tablet, so I'm not going to be any good until she moves.
And we're glad to have you along, Vampire. If you got here just the right time because you get to hear at least where we start
There we go.
and see how this goes. All right, here we go. As we enter Holmes's apartment, we come upon a most silent and introspective gathering. Our attention is drawn towards Holmes, who sits, legs outstretched, plucking random notes from the strings of his violin. It appears that for the master sleuth, the instrument produces not sound, but sight. As he plays a discordant melody, some vision seems to be forming behind those gray, brooding eyes. Dr. Watson, who sits on the seat of a large chair, fills his pipe while engaging in a most minute inspection of the rug. Inspector Lestrade, who stands near the mantel, flipping the pages of his notebook, desperately tries to read between the lines of his own handwriting. It takes a moment, but our presence is finally noticed. Ah, your prompt attention to my note is gratifying. Inspector Lestrade has a rather intriguing problem for you. Inspector, would you be so kind? At approximately 10 o'clock this morning, begins Lestrade, I received a communication from the offices of Sloane, Swarthmore, and Cartwright. No doubt you are aware that they are one of the most prestigious legal firms in all of London. Trust funds under their care amount to many millions, and they advise the world's largest companies in their contract negotiations. The communication from Constable Lane read, "Junior partner drops dead. Doctor at scene suspects poison. Come at once." I arrived in the lobby of the Sloane building and took one of two lifts to the 4th floor. Out of the lift, I turned right and proceeded down a short corridor, entering a large circular room. In the center were 3 desks, obviously the executive staff's workspace. 5 office doors ringed the room. Constable Lane beckoned me towards one of them. There, I found the body of Melvin Tuttle, 2.5 years with the firm and newly promoted junior partner. Mr. Gerald Mason, who has offices in the building, was also present. He informed me an examination of the body indicated heart failure, but that considering the youth of the man, Tuttle was 28, and his obvious good health, we suspected poison. Of course, heart failure is not unheard of in one so young, interrupts Watson. The appearance of health is not always the fact of it. An excellent observation, my dear Watson, says Holmes. But no doubt Sir Jasper will be able to tell us more after a thorough examination. Quite so, says Lestrade. But my instincts tell me that the man was poisoned. In fact, I will stake my reputation on it. And a sterling reputation it is, says Holmes. Pray continue, Inspector. Acting on Dr. Mason's suspicions, and my own, he proceeds, I sent the cup of tea and biscuit found on Tuttle's desk to Professor Murray for analysis, as well as a bag of toffee found in the top drawer. Oh, and Tuttle's tobacco pouch and pipe. With this last, Lestrade looks to Holmes for approval, and Holmes, somewhat amused, gives it to him with a nod. While Constable Lane collected the contents of Tuttle's desk to be taken to the yard for inventory and study, I took the vacant office next to Tuttle's to conduct my investigation. According to the lift operator, Emmett Price, Tuttle worked late last night, arrived early, shortly before 8 a.m. Some important contracts had to be gotten out, and it was Tuttle's responsibility. At 9 a.m., Miss Margaret Porter and Miss Alice Springs arrived in the lobby almost simultaneously. Mrs. Porter, the senior member of the executive staff, has been with the firm some 22 years. Miss Spring, an attractive brunette, is the executive secretary and has been with the firm for 5 years. Price noted that she seemed distracted. The third member of the staff, Miss Brenda Walker, the staff typist, also worked late last evening and was not expected before the afternoon. Of the 3 senior partners, Sir Sidney Sloane, the founder of the firm, never arrives before noon. Mr. Harry Swarthmore, head of the trust division, worked late with Tuttle last night and had an appointment at Bell's Baths at 9 a.m. Mr. Whitney Cartwright, head of the contracts division, took an unscheduled leave of absence of undetermined duration yesterday. According to Mrs. Porter, Mr. Tuttle's door was open when she and Miss Spring arrived. When he saw them, he rose, waved his pipe in greeting, and closed the door. While Mrs. Porter made the rounds of the 3 senior partners' offices collecting memos and such, Miss Spring was back at hers weeping. Mrs. Porter attempted to find out the trouble, but Miss Spring rebuffed her. By Mrs. Porter's estimate, 15 minutes passed during which she sorted correspondence. Miss Spring typed at her desk, and Mr. Tuttle worked behind the closed door of his office. When Mrs. Porter then went about preparing morning tea. When it was ready, she took a cup and a fresh biscuit purchased at Lindell's Bakery, 34 Macklin Street, to Tuttle. He accepted them and handed her 11 letters to be posted immediately, stating that he was very glad that the contracts were finally finished. Mrs. Porter saw that Tuttle appeared tired, even a little unsteady. His hand shook as he tried to relight his pipe, but noticed nothing of a more serious nature. She then left the office, closing the door behind her, and walked directly to the lift. When Price arrived, she gave him the letters with instructions to pass them on to a messenger for immediate posting. She had just arrived back at her desk when she heard a crash from Tuttle's office. After an exchange of glances with Miss Spring, who had been at her desk during all the foregoing, they both went to investigate. They found Tuttle lying on the floor, apparently lifeless. Miss Spring rushed to the body, crying out, "Oh, Melvin!" Mrs. Porter was able to take her out of the office and settle her down somewhat before she summoned Dr. Mason via Price. And there you have it. I suppose you thoroughly, what's the expression? Grilled the 2 ladies? Asked Watson. Poison is, after all, a woman's weapon. Side note,
Watson.
We should remember the sexist time in which this was written, and in no way does this reflect either my opinion or that of Wall Street O'Donnell Dennis.
I will poison you right away. Oh, wait, no, sorry.
Cover that real quick. Each was questioned separately, and their stories in the main coincided, replies Lestrade. In the main? Asks Watson intensely. No two witnesses to a single event will give the same testimony in every detail. To do so would indeed be suspicious, as Inspector Lestrade knows quite well. Yes, of course, agrees Lestrade cautiously. You mentioned a vacant office, Inspector? Yes. Until last week, it was occupied by Harold Diggs. It seems that 3 months ago, both Diggs and Tuttle were promoted from the floor below. Diggs, 11 years with the firm, resigned upon the announcement of Tuttle's junior partnership. As I understand, he had quite a row with Sir Sidney Tuesday last. Ah, a jealous colleague, says Watson. Certainly a motive for murder. Mr. Holmes, says Lestrade, completely ignoring Watson's remark, I admit to being quite baffled. The commissioner has already notified my office that he expects prompt solution to this crime. Holmes nods gravely and says, of course, Inspector. A prompt solution to any case is always desirable. You shall certainly have our help in this matter. And Vampire, thank you for the follow. We're glad to have you as part of the family here. And it's great to have you aboard. Hopefully the blend's turning out. I tried to pause after every major name to give everyone a chance to get them down because there were a lot in there.
Pretty sure I didn't manage all of them.
We've got the book to go back to.
And that is one heck of a timeline, man. A lot of times and order in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who worked late with Tuttle?
That would be
Alice Spring. Oh, Brenda Walker.
the typist.
No, but wasn't there someone else? It's Sir Sidney Stone
Yeah.
early, and then
Yeah. I don't remember.
Let me look
it
again.
was listing who came in early and late and had an appointment at somewhere.
Okay, so Dr. Harry Swarthmore, head of the Trust Division, worked late the previous night.
Not with Tuttle. Okay.
Right, had an appointment at Bell's Bath at 9 a.m.
What was the name again? Sorry.
Harry Swarthmore.
How do you Swarth?
Swarth. Swathmore.
Swathmore.
And thank you, Akai, thank you for also joining the family. We're glad to have you tonight. We're just starting the mystery, so you have time to jump in if you want to. If anything we say sounds like we should have paid more attention to it, now's a great time to get in on it.
Who had the unscheduled leave of absence?
That would be the third
Cartwright.
partner. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I just knew his name was Cartwright.
Mm-hmm. Whitney Cartwright, Contracts Division, took off suddenly yesterday.
Okay, so he's contracts.
Mm-hmm.
And what were the other two partners of? Like they had.
Sir Sidney
Say the
Sloan is the founder. Swarthmore handles trusts, and Cartwright handles contracts.
Okay.
And the papers he had been working on were contracts.
Okay.
It's very detailed.
But we haven't gotten there yet. We could toss their office when we get there.
So I'm thinking
Which, of course, already makes you wonder about Cartwright because he was in charge of contracts and unscheduled leave.
you gotta dodge fast. I don't think it's curious that the secretary addressed her boss by first name.
Yes.
Well, and she was distracted, pretty, and weeping. So I'm gonna go with the theory that the style of the time is you had an affair with the secretary. I'm gonna guess.
I'm digging it. I mean,
yeah, I think it's a red herring though. It's too.
Oh, probably.
I think he broke up with her, and that's why she was crying. But then she was still sad he was dead. That's my
Yep.
nothing. But there you go.
No, yeah, I like it.
that's still a heck of a motive, though.
Of course.
Who picked up the biscuit from the bakery?
That was that Margaret Porter?
She gave him the biscuit, but it didn't say who picked it up. I don't think.
Right. We don't know the chain.
Oh, okay.
The chain of custody of the biscuit is in question. She did, however, make the tea.
Okay.
Although
Teehee.
I can't imagine why you would make a cup of tea and kill somebody with it.
No,
yeah,
but
it would lead to her.
right. Maybe we need to see if anyone else drank the tea.
True. I don't think it'll say. Well, and the toffee, the tea, and the biscuit, tobacco pouch, and pipe were sent to the lab, right?
Yes.
Now I want tea and
Yes.
biscuits.
No,
I know, right?
Everything.
I-
Everything was sent to the lab.
This is
I
the risk.
came ill prepared for this adventure. All right.
We'll know for next time.
So where are we gonna investigate first?
Yeah.
I
I
think we
will
could go to their
posit I'm
office
not
first.
entirely convinced this person was part of high society.
No, I don't think so. I think it was earning their way up kind of thing. I'm a little confused why Harold Diggs was so annoyed. Unless they were
Because-
like on the same level and he thought he was going to get promoted first or something.
Yeah, he'd been there for 11 years, and this dude.
Oh, 2.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that upset me. So I'm wondering
Wunderkind.
if- I'm gonna go with just randomly guessing here, though, that what's his name is blackmailing someone or something, and
Subtle. I was thinking that too.
that's how he got the fast promotion.
Oh.
Ooh.
And then somebody said, we've had
Or-
enough of this.
Or maybe he caught Cartwright in something shady, which is why he scheduled
Oh,
unscheduled leave. Oh.
that's Cartwright's a good guess, I guess.
Mhm.
To start. All right. So who should we go to first? Well, we could go talk to the guy who analyzed the toffee tea and biscuit.
So I do have a question about the way that this plays out. I can't remember if you go to a location or do an investigation early and you get information, then you go back. Are you going to get more information later than you would earlier? Are you going to get all the dirt on one trip?
You get all the dirt on one trip. This is the first generation of these, so there is no tracking whether you've been places to get additional stuff. They
Okay.
do introduce that in later games, so sometime around August, we probably will be into that box.
Gotcha.
Curious, have you come across one that has had that much timeline put in it before? Because I kind of wonder if we need to get the timeline down.
I was thinking about that too. I feel like that might be important because
Yeah.
we have so much of that.
Is this
I'm
document
going to put
in,
it on the jam.
is
Okay.
this document in our Google Docs?
This one is not.
Okay.
The book itself,
All right.
that's the one thing they guarantee to make sure you buy it, is they keep
book.
the booklet back. And they just count one person reading it out over Zoom in order to get all the information to everybody. So
All
that
right. So let's do a timeline here.
makes
Yeah.
me important.
What is the first thing?
So first thing in the morning,
So he was
Mhm.
found at
Oh,
10 a.m.
yesterday. Start with the day before.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
okay. Well, actually, let
So that was
me
the-
go down sequentially through here. You guys put them on the timeline where you think they should be. How's that?
Sure.
Okay, so the first thing we have is this morning at 10 o'clock, Lestrade got the communication saying from Constable Lane saying there was a dead body. So it was
This is horrible.
so 10 o'clock is when he got the call. Then we go down through all of this.
I'm sorry, Claire. This is not working.
All this stuff was found. I'm looking for anything important on dates and times. Okay. So according to the lift operator Price, Tuttle worked late the night before, arrived early just before 8 a.m. So Tuttle walks in at
Works at 8 a.m. yesterday.
8 a.m. this morning. He worked late the night before
Okay.
and came in early this morning.
Oh, okay.
They usually are, Vampire. I love doing these, and it's a great way to spend time with my wife while she's still in the same house, but doesn't look like she is.
Let's see. And so Tuttle arrives.
Right.
And who tells us this?
This information comes via the lift operator, Mr. Price. As he reported it to the constable.
Okay.
We should assume the constables are probably on the level.
Right.
Well, we will. We probably shouldn't, but we will.
For the purpose of this fiction,
For the purpose of the fiction, no corruption among the cops.
Yes.
Okay.
That's how we know it's a
All
fantasy
right.
world.
At
All right, no.
Something like that. Yes.
9 a.m.
9 a.m. is when Mrs. Porter and Miss Spring arrive.
And who tells us that?
This is from the police report. So I would assume
Probably the lift operator.
probably the lift operator / maybe from the interrogations.
What were their names again? One more time.
Porter and Spring.
Porter
and
Spring.
Spring. Is this on the Jamboard now?
I don't know.
I'm working on it.
You haven't hit enter yet. That's why I can't see it.
It's a jam
Oh,
board.
sorry. Yeah.
No, that's okay. You don't need to. Well,
Ah.
that'll work. Okay, so there we go.
Here's what we got.
That's what we got so far. Sweet. I'm not used to it not showing up in real time. That's like I just see that you're doing a thing. But okay. Let's see. The third member of the staff was not expected before noon, so we never saw her. And that would be Miss Brenda Walker, the staff typist, who worked late the night before. So she was working with Tuttle the night before. At the Walker.
Yeah.
At the time of the murder, Mr. Sloan never arrives before noon. Swarthmore worked late the night before and was at Bell's Baths at 9 a.m. And then Cartwright took the unscheduled vacation yesterday.
Do we have a time on that?
Nope. Midday, perhaps, if you have to guess.
Was it Whitney Cartwright?
Whitney, yes. Whitney Cartwright of the contract. So Swarthmore, who's in the head of trust, stayed to work with Tuttle on contracts after Cartwright took off.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't say he was working with Tuttle.
No.
Oh,
It
good
doesn't
point.
say that for Brenda either.
A good point. A good point.
Ooh.
Work late.
But I would love to find someone, I would love to find out when he left.
Cartwright?
Like, when did Swarthmore leave last night?
Mm-hmm.
Because he could have put something in the tea after everyone went home if he was the last one there.
Hmm?
But that only works if he knows that the tea is individual to each person. It's very specific.
True. Maybe he poisoned the toffee.
That could be.
Ooh.
It's like Name of the Rose. He poisoned some of the paperwork. When he licked his finger to move paperwork, he poisoned himself.
All right. Well, that didn't take us 90 minutes. Good job, all.
Well, we're good. That's great. Thanks.
32 minutes in, half of which was just me reading the setup. Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
right.
So
Are those all the times that we have?
no. We
feel like there
also
was more.
so the executive assistants arrived. Here we go. When they arrived, if this is significant, Porter spent about 15 minutes. Well, she tried to console Spring. Then she spent 15 minutes sorting correspondence. Then she went in to take the morning tea. So ballpark that as 9:15, 9:20-ish. And that's when Mrs. Porter saw that Tuttle appeared tired, even unsteady. then in the time it took for her to walk to the lift and come back, that's when Tuttle went down with the crash.
Okay, what time was that?
So we figure, calm down, it's not that bad. 15 minutes sorting mail, make the tea, deliver the tea, puts us about 9:30.
Yeah.
5 minutes to do a quick walk back and forth to the lift. So we'll call it 38 minutes with a standard, chit chat with the lift operator. Nah, call it 4 minutes. He's a lift operator. So probably back at our desk at 9:40. Crash, 20 minutes to ring up the police and have them come up.
So we'll say 9:45 just to keep it 15-minute increments.
That'll work.
So we have to find out what happened between 9 a.m. and 9:20 in the office.
Well,
Or 9:30, yeah.
it seems like
Or what happened in his house before he got there.
Right.
we're going to have to talk to the lift operator at some point.
Yeah, kind of feels like that's the first one. But
Or,
I
I'm
don't.
sorry, between 8 a.m. and 9:20.
Is this going to be one of those where the lift operator has said everything to the police, or is he still somebody we can talk to?
Oh, here she comes trying to steal my pen. I told you.
Nice.
I think since we have his name, we can
I'm
still
stealing.
talk to him. But I can't imagine that he didn't tell everything to the police
Right.
in this game. I'm not sure.
Although the question is, are we going to, right now, we are still midday, I believe, the day of the murder.
Mm-hmm.
So just visiting the office may get us the information from the lift operator without having to ring him up at home.
Yeah.
Which
Right.
feels like the best place
That's
to
what I was
start because we're there.
And I would like to talk to person who had the argument with the guy who quit.
Well, Harold Diggs is the guy who quit, right?
Mhm.
He's the guy who
Oh, that's-
vacated the office next door.
Yes.
Yeah.
He had
So
the
he's probably
argument
not
with.
there, but I didn't get down who he argued with, but he argued with one of the.
Oh,
One of the partners, right?
But I didn't write which one.
he had his argument was with Sir Sidney.
Okay, so with
the founder.
Sloan, the founder.
So yeah, I would like to talk to Sir Sidney. So I think we start at the office. We most likely could talk to the most people for the least amount of trips by starting there during work hours.
Like it.
I'm down with that.
Plus, we're here, so it's a good place to start, right?
Okay.
Oh, I thought we were at Sherlock's office. But no, if we're there, that's great.
Oh, that's right. We're just getting stuck in the straight. Sorry.
But I'm good at going straight to the office as well. So
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good place to start.
Ah, cool. Sounds like
Okay.
that's where we go.
Let's see. The law firm of law firms, libraries, jewelers. Okay. They're not barristers. Solicitors. Let me know if one of y'all finds where we're going before I do.
Oh, we're looking for it on the map, are we?
Looking for it in the phone book.
Phone book.
Well, I guess I could go straight to the name of the firm, which was what, Swarthmore?
Sloan,
Sloan.
Swarthmore, and Cartwright.
Sloan Building.
Oh.
Does that sound like where we're headed?
yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay, so that
Yeah, that
would
was
be-
mentioned somewhere in one of the Sloan building is where their office is. Yep.
Okay. Sloan Building is at 29 WC. 29 West Central. As we hail a hansom and make our way across London. Okay. Buckle up, kiddos.
I don't know. You said that before. That could go either way.
Yeah, it's about a page.
Hooray.
All right. Here we go. Although built by Sir Sidney some 10 years ago as a monument to his firm's reputation, the Sloane building houses more than just the offices of Sloane, Swarthmore, and Cartwright. The ground floor is occupied by several commercial shops that include a shoe repair shop and a glass eye maker. The second floor is occupied by various professional people, including Brickbat and Buttress, architects, and Gerald Mason, the physician called to the scene. Only the third and domed fourth floor, seen atop the building like the final tier of a wedding cake, are occupied by the firm. In the lobby, we question Emmett Price, the operator of the executive lift. He is a young, well-favored lad, neatly decked out in a blue quasi-military uniform. Although the executive offices are closed, Price is on duty to shuttle up and down the several officers of the law who are roaming about the place. It seems that the police are still investigating the scene of the crime. Price restates the time of arrivals that morning as given to us by Inspector Lestrade. Did you speak to Mr. Tuttle at all? Just to say hello, which ain't any more than usual. He was in good spirits. Whistling, he was. Mrs. Porter and Miss Spring arrived about an hour later, shortly before 9. That's right. Mrs. Porter was the first. She gave me a fresh biscuit like she always does and said good morning. Miss Spring arrived just as I was about to shut the door. She seemed, I don't know, nervous or something. Didn't say a word. She's quite a looker, ain't she? Were you on duty last night? Of course. I stayed till everybody's gone, no matter how late. I'm the only way up or down, you see. Do you recall when everyone left last night? Times,
Fire
you mean?
code.
Sure. Mr. Cartwright left, a little before noon. Usually, he's the one who keeps me late. One for working late, he is. Anyway, yesterday he seemed awful upset. Now he's the one to pass the time of day with me. Asks about me mum or me girlfriend or whatnot. Didn't say a word. That's how I known he was upset. Mr. Sidney left at 4, his usual time. Miss Spring and Miss Porter left just after 5. It was then that Mrs. Porter told me that Mr. Swarthmore, Miss Walker, and Mr. Tuttle were working late. At what time did
Who
they...
said that?
Pardon?
Porter.
Porter.
Miss Porter said that?
Yes. And she is also the one that apparently brought the biscuits because she handed one to Mr. Price to operate the lift.
Means they weren't poisoned when they came in.
Yeah.
That one wasn't.
Let's wait and see if he mentions
Well.
whether he ate his biscuit.
Oh, okay. Well,
But she always gives him a biscuit in the morning.
I can't imagine her leaving a trail of poisoned biscuits around the building.
Right.
But you're right. At least that
Maybe
one's
she's
not
only been
poisoned.
taking cuddles every morning.
The
It's
baker
a-
probably didn't have a vendetta against the.
No. If you end up with 2 boxes of biscuits, we're in a Nero Wolf Red Box mystery. That 2 boxes of chocolates and one got swapped because one was poison one.
Okay, fair.
At what time did they leave? It was exactly 11:15. Got to mark down me time, you know. Did they leave together or separately? Well, they all came down together, but they left in separate cabs. Miss Walker's hansom went down Piccadilly, Mr. Tuttle's went north up Little St. Andrews, and Mr. Swarthmore's went west out Castle and turned south on Endell. At our request...
Can you say it again?
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to grab the map.
I'm making notes.
Okay.
Okay.
So one more time.
Yeah.
Miss Walker's hansom went down Piccadilly. Mr. Tuttle's went north up Little St. Andrews. And Mr. Swarthmore's went west to Castle. West along Castle. And then turned south on Endell.
one more time with Swarthmore. Sorry.
West out Castle. Turn south on Endel.
All right, then.
At our request, well, I'll pause there. So I'm thinking when we're done with these accounts, we should take a look at the map and put a few dots on it as to where everybody calls home. Because I think we're going to find something interesting about what is north up Little St. Andrews, which will confirm our current suspicions. At our request, Price takes us to the 4th floor where we find Constables Barnwell and Throgmorton. That's a name. Out of uniform and playing gin rummy. They are momentarily embarrassed by our entrance. Come again?
Said sounds like they're working hard.
Yeah.
Yep. And sheepishly ask us not to report their conduct. By way of explanation, they assure us that everything that was needed to be done had been done. That is, the entire premises has been searched and nothing suspicious has been found. We promise that Lestrade will hear nothing from us and ask if we can tour the premises. They give us the complete freedom of the floor and access to Tuttle's office. We find nothing of interest either.
Okay.
Now, is that because it's all been stolen? Is that why we found it?
I'm going to guess it's because it's all been processed and everything of value has been carted off to the yard, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I found the addresses for 3 people.
Okay, so we were currently at, let me grab the piece of the map that's where we are. 29WC, right? So WC is West Central. Let me find 29. There it is.
Let me see.
And I don't know if we can pinpoint everybody else at once, but I'm gonna throw this on the board. Boom. Okay, so load. All right, so that's where we currently are. I always forget to downgrade to 100%. Darn it.
Are you on the whiteboard?
Yeah, I went to page 3.
Oh.
But
Right.
I can't draw when it's not at the full zoom because the pen's too small.
Gotcha.
So let me shrink that down so it fits on the 100% screen. Close enough for government work.
Hey now.
Okay. So 29 is right there. Now do we know where Miss Walker calls home? Not Miss Walker.
30
Miss Spring.
Northwest.
30 Northwest is Miss Walker or Spring?
Walker.
Walker is 30 Northwest. So Northwest. So that's actually going to be completely different district. 30 Northwest. The best route would be straight west.
Yeah, but she went up Piccadilly. Is Piccadilly?
Oh, there it is.
Piccadilly go towards her?
Oh wait.
So we start at where?
29.
Okay, so that is okay.
Went down Piccadilly. So Piccadilly is. Now there's Piccadilly. Yep, that would make sense. If she goes along Piccadilly, that's going home.
Wait, is there more than one number 29?
There's a different 29 in each district.
Oh, I must be in the wrong place. Okay.
And then Swarthmore is also 39 Northwest. Well, not 30 North. He's also Northwest, but he's 39.
Okay.
But he took a completely different route.
Swarthmore, 39 Northwest would be. What was his route again?
West out Castle, south on Endel.
So west out Castle, south on Endall. Piccadilly Castle. Let's
Maybe towards one of the theaters.
Castle is north of the.
Oh, there's Castle.
Yeah.
And then he
north,
turned
Not much west.
south on Endell Street.
south on
Well, I'm
Endell.
guessing that's why he could tell the guy could tell that he turned that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, he's
so
following him.
that's the direction Swarthmore went. That's
And then
but his home should be that way.
right.
Okay.
And then Tuttle is at 7 WC.
7 West Central.
Yeah.
That's just off the map above 78. Yeah, that's up over here. So this is where Tuttle calls home. And what route did he take?
Up Little St. Andrews.
Okay. That would be this way. That is more or less home.
Okay.
So that is consistent with him going home.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have something amiss with Mr. Swarthmore going completely the
Right.
wrong direction. Where does Miss Spring call home?
46 East Central.
46 East Central would be 46 East Central. There's East Central. 46 is
Right on the edge of the map,
Hmm.
I think. I see it. I wish I could show you.
oh, off
Wait.
Holborn.
It's yes. It's not on the edge of the map. It's on the edge of the map in my window.
Wait, what number was it?
46.
46.
46.
It's up
Oh,
towards
there
the
it
top
is,
of the map.
46.
It's a big yellow.
So that's where Miss Spring calls home. Oh. Well, here's a fun
Funded.
thing. If you go up here and then you hang a right on High Holborn.
Oh, it's right to hers.
So that's the thing is if he stays on Bromberry Way, he goes home. He goes this way, he ends up at Miss Springs.
Right.
Mightily inconclusive.
Yes. Impressively so.
Darn it.
I tell you something there.
I was sure we were going to crack the case with that one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Let me see where Cartwright.
Hmm.
Oh, 32 Northwest.
okay.
Where's Cartwright?
32 Northwest.
Not on this map.
Okay. So
Go
probably
back
not.
to the main map, Cartwright 32 Northwest.
Yes.
32 Northwest. Yeah. Nobody was hidden there. There's also a non-zero possibility Diggs might be in play on this, but I don't
That's
see
what I
that.
was wondering. He lives at 8 WC.
Oh, that's not on the map.
8WC.
Yeah.
So
That is actually mighty close. Isn't that like right across the street from? It's up over here by
Right.
this courtyard. It's up just off the map over this way.
Oh.
Just off this
Okay.
piece of the map, at least.
Oh, so not too far from Tuttle's.
No.
So Tuttle could have been going there too, right?
Okay.
Wait, who
Maybe.
is this?
Harold Diggs.
Diggs, the guy who quit.
Yeah, who quit.
Oh, right. Okay. So Diggs could be angry because he thought he should be promoted.
Mhm.
And
I thought they were promoted at the same time, or was it the other guy promoted over him?
They both were moved up at the same time, and then then Tuttle was made junior partner.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
And so my interpretation of that is it was a much a larger prestige boost.
yeah. Although he did see, I mean, he was arguing with Sir Sidney, so I would say maybe he's more angry with Sir Sidney over this than
I
Tuttle.
wonder if there was a promise of promotion and then that guy got it instead.
Yeah.
Right, but then wouldn't you kill Sir Sidney, not the guy who he promoted?
If you were the one killing him. Yeah, probably.
So, but what if Swarthmore has a thing going on with the secretary, and so he
Frank?
killed Tuttle because Tuttle was in contention for her affection?
I don't know.
I'd be down with that if we didn't. The only reason I'm not sure is the hansom cab that he hired took a turn the wrong direction from getting to her house expeditiously. I mean,
they would have gone up. What is it? Looks like
Not
Montgomery
together.
Street.
they would have gone up here to the New Oxford and thinking that across. I mean, the only reason I could think to do this is if his plan was then to turn down here and then loop back up again in order to not let everyone know that's where he was headed.
That seems more complex for that than one of these.
Well, plus
Seems needlessly complex for this.
he also lives this direct. He lives west, so the smarter move would be to head west and then loop
And then turn around.
down and around if you're really trying to throw people off. So he didn't
you
do
go,
that
You
right.
go up to Oxford Street. Yeah.
Who's left?
Sir Sloan is 56 Southwest. And then
6 Southwest. He definitely wasn't going there.
the only other one they mentioned is Gerald Mason, who's the doctor.
Well, there's the guy who's on leave randomly.
Cartwright.
Right. Yep.
And
And then there's.
he's-
Did we look up where Porter is? Not that I think that she's.
No. Margaret Porter, yes, she's 8 Northwest.
8 Northwest. Okay, so probably not going to her joint either.
I didn't look up Emmett Price, but I didn't think we needed to, although I can.
No, I think he's good to go. Yeah, 8 Northwest
he-
is actually right here. Nobody's going to her house.
No.
Poor
Okay.
thing.
Nope.
That has to be stressful.
Well, at least
If
nobody.
everybody's going to be playing around.
You know.
And maybe she's glad about that based on what happened today.
True. That's true. Okay. So it kind of feels like we could go to Tuttle's house, or we could go to the doctor and see if they got results on the tea and biscuits and stuff and see if anything was poisoned.
I feel like we should go to Tuttle's house so we don't forget to go to Tuttle's
I know,
house.
but it feels like everything would be here. I know. I'm like, oh, should we? Because we have chosen wrong before. Or like maybe we should talk to Swarthmore, who worked with him the night before, and then figure out where he went as well.
Mhm.
I know. Kind of feel like should we
I-
find out if he
I don't
was for
wanna
sure
look-
poisoned?
I
Yeah,
would go to that or go to Tuttle's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are.
We have our suspects narrowed down enough to go talk to individual suspects yet, but Tuttle
Yeah.
or try to find out what actually killed him would be my choices.
Yeah. I think you're
Because last week we would have found the murder weapon, the motive,
So
and the
much.
secondary lead.
Yeah.
If
and
we,
it would have been 90 minutes to
it
solve
would have been, yeah, the case would have been over before we, yeah.
Should we start with
Before we
Tuttle's then?
I'm down with that.
Get that out of the way.
I'm down with that.
Sounds good.
I think we do have to hit Diggs up at some point. But
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
He's on our bonus point list too.
Yeah. It feels like
Diggs.
Tuttle, Diggs, and the is it the lab that all that stuff got sent to figure out if it's poisoned?
Well, we have the criminologist, and we have, which is separate from the coroner.
Right.
We
So-
want to go wherever all the stuff was sent to look for poison.
So I'm guessing would
Oh,
be the
the lab.
criminologist,
Whatever
right?
that is.
Yeah.
Or the lab.
yeah, the crime lab.
probably.
So we're gonna first visit Mr. Tuttle's house,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
That is
Okay.
page 4.
Okay. Well, okay, this has some interesting stuff. Buckle up.
Good.
That's what we want.
Tuttle's landlady let me start that over. Tuttle's landlady kindly lets us into his flat, which we find in shambles. It is evident that not a nook or cranny has been left untouched by the intruders.
Ooh.
As we pick among the rubble, we find several things of interest. First, there is Tuttle's bank book from the Bank of England. The last 3 months showed a marked increase in deposits.
Sounds like blackmail to me.
Next, there is an earring, inexpensive costume jewelry, such as one might purchase in any department store. Finally, there are 2 letters. One has no return address and is dated 23 June. It reads, "Darling, I cannot accept that it is over. Please, please, come to see me. I love you beyond all caring. Signed, Faye, F-A-Y. The other is actually one of a series of letters with the same return address. VM 25 Chichester Street, Southwest.
Mm-hmm.
We find 24 such letters dating as far back as 17 December 1889. The one we choose at random is dated March 10th, 1890, and reads, in part, noting that the handwriting is different than the previous letter. Your high spirits on Sunday gave me great hope. I believe in you and know that you will one day overcome Father's objections. But know that if it takes longer than you would wish, I will wait. I will wait forever if need be. Ginny."
Ginny.
Yes. As in the abbreviation of Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Well then.
What was the address?
25 Southwest.
Chichester Street.
Yes. VM.
Out of 25 Southwest.
25 Chichester Street. 25 Southwest. VM. Oh, Virginia.
Mason or something.
Yeah. Something with an
for
M.
now?
Yeah,
What was it?
Mason, the doctor.
Oh, daughter of the doctor. Let's see where the doctor does live.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
doctor killed him.
Harold Mason.
Oh. The plot thickens.
I bet it is.
His name's wait, Gerald Mason.
Harold Mason, yeah.
Oh, Harold.
Wait.
Gerald.
Spell it. Jerrold.
That would be the good doctor.
Gerald, not Gerald.
12 Northwest.
Well, that's an interesting thing. So what's going on at 25
5 Northwest.
Southwest?
Well, maybe we should go there. What is?
Okay, is that true in the digital book? Because my book has.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Just checking.
Digital.
So there are no misprints in these as well that you have to navigate as well.
Oh, that's good.
See also the fact that there are no prisons in my directory.
Ongoing prison
Yes.
prison dilemma.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe we should go to the prison today too.
There you go. Just to make sure.
Just to be
To
sure.
make sure.
Just to be sure.
Somebody in this story must have been in the prison at some point.
Right. Definitely.
So yeah,
Okay.
I'm liking the theory that maybe this is the doctor did it, knowing that he'd be summoned to.
Oh, he probably wouldn't say poisoned. Oh wait, he's the one who said it was heart disease, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That it was yeah.
No, he didn't.
Someone did.
Who said it was heart disease?
No.
Lestrade thought it was poison. He was following his gut.
And the
That
doctor
thought
said
it was
heart
disease.
attack.
Heart attack, yeah. I wonder if
Well, no, but I
Mason-
think he said he suspected heart failure, but he suspected poison caused the heart failure because of his good health.
Hmm.
Oh. There's a personal ad in the paper
Oh, good.
from today that says, MT, very glad to hear from you. Write soon. Same address, VM.
Oh. So who would be MT?
Ooh.
Tuttle. What was
Miss-
Tuttle's first name?
Tuttle's first
Melvin.
name.
Melvin Tuttle.
Melvin Tuttle, yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't find the newspapers, so awesome.
It should be on the, where are they?
I'll send the link in the in Zoom chat.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see it. There it is.
I have a link. I was looking for them, but
It's
I
at the
found
bottom.
something that
It's at the bottom, yeah.
says newspapers, but it's like only got like
We're using number 10 is up to date, right?
No, number 9.
Or number 9 is
Is
up to date, yeah. So here's today's paper.
Oh, but there's only one paper there, it looks like.
Yeah, which I think is the right
Link.
one.
so I have a March 12th, 1888 is all I can
Oh, but it does say page
Other
1 of 6. How do you
Yeah, but it doesn't
You just scroll through? maybe?
scroll down?
I did, but no, it's just the same paper.
Well, there's
June 11th, 1888.
there's today's
Well,
paper.
if you go up to the very top, does it get you to the drive where it says the shared W Sherlock T whatever? Because you can go up into the one of Sherlock and it'll take you to the newspapers.
Oh, got you.
That's how I got.
So don't be in
Oh.
page 3, be in Sherlock.
There it is.
And you want
Yep.
Journal 9.
Got it.
There's all the newspapers.
Yep.
Woo!
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Wait a second. Wait.
Wait, what?
There they are.
Okay, now here's the fun thing.
Wait, was it Faye or K?
Or K.
That was
Okay was the letter.
was it K that was the letter?
I'm going to replicate as best I can on the board the way this is signed. You can be the judge. I'll put it over here next to the map.
Take a
Okay.
picture of it with your phone and put it in there.
I could do that too, but that's too much. That's too much technology.
Too much work.
Too much work. So there's a line, and a T,
Where's that?
and then a cursive A that flows neatly into a Y.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now, there is a distinct gap between the top of the F and the T beneath it. So I would argue that's still probably not K,
No, I would think it's Faye.
but I could also see, I would not be stunned to later learn
It's okay.
that it's meant to be a K, or here's an easy one. 2 lines in the paper in a personal ad, you're not paying a lot of money, which means
Yeah.
the kid who does the typesetting isn't getting
Can
paid a
screw
lot
it
of
up.
money. But that might be too many steps removed.
I think that's too many steps removed.
Okay, but here's the thing, it's consistent.
What do you mean? It's consistent.
All my letters are refused, even when address. So,
No fault of mine.
no fault of mine. And welcome aboard, other doc.
But we had a letter, so that wouldn't make any sense.
Oh, that's true. But it's
Right.
an older letter. Dated
No.
23 June.
Today's the 26th, so 3 days ago.
Never mind. Okay. Speaking of doctors,
But we should keep that in mind just in case.
Yeah.
It might be about somebody else.
Yeah.
it's also possible that Virginia Mason has a separate flat from her father.
Right.
but she's
Well,
not in the
let's
book.
see.
She's
See if
not
I
in the
can
book?
find it.
Well, she's probably at that 25
True.
whatever.
I don't see a Virginia Mason.
Hmm.
So,
We know the address the letters are posted from, though.
well, we could always go to that address to try and
Mhm.
figure out what's there.
25 Chichester Street.
Yeah.
I think we should go there
Yes.
at some point.
Knock
we
up,
want to go.
knock up
Yeah, I
Miss
was gonna say,
Mason.
should we? Huh?
Yes, let's knock up Miss Mason.
That might be what she was
Phrasing.
trying to avoid. Should
I'm
we?
sorry that I so adore that turn of phrase, not just because of its irony in the United States, but just it's just such an interesting.
It's a
turn of
wonderful phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think we should call it takeaway.
Other than
Well,
takeout.
Yeah,
I do.
or carry out. It's takeaway.
We usually call it a takeaway.
Any of those work for me. I don't think we have to adopt just one.
No, keeping
like
it open.
Would you like plague or elsewhere? That's the thing right now, right? So
Yeah.
Okay, so
All right, should we find out how he died to see if
Ooh,
Let's go find out the poison.
we're doing the criminologist?
Yeah.
Criminologist, right? Or
Yeah.
the lab? Is that the criminologist is at the lab, right?
well, there's
I
the
believe-
we either have the coroner or the criminologist.
correct. So it's either Mr. Murray or Sir Jasper Meeks. I'm digging Murray.
The criminologist will give us things like motive, right? And the mindset, and the other guy is the physical nature of what actually happened, or is that not? Am I imagining the difference there?
Meeks will
I
tell
think
us.
the coroner. Go ahead.
Meeks will tell us the state of the body. Murray will tell us the state of everything else.
Murray, then.
Murray, yeah.
Yeah.
He's not a psychologist. He's a scientist.
Ha
Ah.
I agree with that statement.
That came out wrong, but we'll go with it.
Hard science, not soft
Oh,
science.
Only because it's illegal to perform all the or immoral to perform many of the tests that you would need to prove things absolutely. Hello, Cat.
With good reason, but yes. That was an ongoing debate at my house with my husband, was whether psychology was a science or not.
It's not that you
Mostly-
can't do science; it's that it's
harder.
It
immoral.
seldom happens.
It's harder. I know. I mean, yeah, it's a different kind of science. There we go.
It's interpretation.
Yeah.
Instead
I
of
like
hard science.
psychology as a science.
Oh, I love psychology. I just don't. It's not highly
Considered a
scientific.
science necessary. Yeah.
It's just soft. I,
I
go with the
I
soft
think-
science.
I
Well,
think it
science,
is, but I
yeah.
like saying it's not.
It's a yes, that sums it up exactly. And education research also falls into that category.
It's
Yeah.
like
Makes
what do you what do you
Quotes,
call a
air
person who hangs
quotes.
out with a band? A drummer. You know,
Uh,
the drummer's in the band, but it's more fun to say they're not.
How do you know when the bow round
except for
player?
the drummer, of course.
How do you know when the bow round player is knocking on your door? Well, he knocks really fast and then a little slower.
And then a little slower.
A little slower.
And
Then really
then
fast.
He skips a note. I remember confusing an Irish friend because I bought a bow round and then asked if he'd show me how to play it. And he's like, "You want to learn how to play it?" Yeah. Oh, I thought Americans just bought them to hang on their walls.
That too.
Have you
Well,
heard
you
the
gotta
key?
store it someplace.
Have you heard the Kien song about that instrument?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll get it to you all after all this. But
Excellent.
We're looking forward to it.
Now
it's
you're just gonna leave us hanging.
the moron with the boron.
As she snarfs wine. Okay.
Yeah, well, I do know when you go to Filking, after the second bow round player walks in, they all groan. I'm like, not another one. Which isn't a joke. It's just what they do.
It is. Yeah.
All right, sorry, off topic.
Okay. So back from the topic of sessions to the topic of
Sessions.
I don't have a segue.
Poisons.
We descend the increasingly familiar musty staircase and enter the professor's laboratory. We've come about items left by Scotland Yard for analysis. Tobacco, pipe, toffee, tea, biscuit. Tea and biscuit? I was hoping for something more substantial. Fish and chips, at least. Well, in any case, put it over there. It takes a moment of further explanation before the professor grasps that we are not here to deliver dinner. Ooh, Inspector Lestrade, why didn't you come say so? I have the report right here, Waggins. Come in, come in. The professor leads us into an alcove which serves as his office and begins sifting through the stacks of papers, charts, graphs, notes, all jumbled together in a huge roll-top desk. What appears to us as chaos is to the professor a precise filing system, for in a matter of seconds he draws forth the desired document. He hands it to us with a self-satisfied smile. Unfortunately, it is unintelligible to us. Just a series of chemical formulae and percentages. For example, toffee, C12, H22, oil, 83%. Professor, could you translate this into layman's terms? Did you find poison in any of these samples? Somewhat irritated, Dr. Murray snatches back the report. Like most experts, it would seem he becomes exasperated with those who find his speciality incomprehensible and are thus improperly appreciative. The toffee and the tobacco are exactly what they purport themselves to be. Toffee and tobacco. Now, the tea does contain the barest trace of poison, 0.04 grams to be exact. But more significantly, a very high concentration was found on the lip of the cup. Also, this same lethal rhyme was detected along the bite taken out of the biscuit and on the pipe stem.
Oh,
The biscuit
somebody with poison lipstick.
itself was not contaminated.
Wait, okay, so the pipe stem was contaminated?
Yep,
And the lip of the cup? And the cookie where it was bit?
where it was bit. What is the poison, Professor? Without replying, he reaches above his desk and pulls a tome down from the shelf. It turns out to be his own work, Compendium of My Favorite Potions, London, 1848. Who the heck... Anyway, he flips through the pages and then hands it to us. It says, Chinaberry. Alea anzidarath is a tree of warm temperate regions producing panicles of fragrant purple flowers, followed by pale yellow berry-like drupes about half an inch across. The fleshy pulp of the fruit contains a paralyzing nerve poison. When distilled in its crystalline pure state and ingested, only 0.05 grams is enough to prove fatal to the most hearty of men. Heart action stops immediately and permanently. No known antidote exists. The presence of this poison can be detected by its faint smell, reminiscent of lilac.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
did I miss it? Was the toffee poisoned?
No,
Oh,
No.
toffee.
Toffee was not.
Coffee was coffee.
Okay, so recap.
Tobacco was tobacco.
Yellow berry-like drupes about half an inch across, and the flowers are purple and smell like lilacs. Oh, sorry. Poison smells like lilacs.
Poison smells like lilacs.
Yes.
And purple probably looks a little like lilacs too, I'm guessing.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
But let me pull up a picture.
Professor,
But we haven't seen or heard anything yet about a smell of lilacs or something that was purple.
No. All right.
we're not done yet, though.
No.
Oh.
Oh, good.
Professor, where would one obtain this poison? Well, I think one of the only ways to obtain Chinaberry would be to strike up a friendship with a South Sea Aborigine. It is not readily available in London? No. Well, thank you for your time, Professor. 4:43, he says, consulting his pocket watch. Ah, yes, thank you. And we make our exit.
We just need to find somebody with a connection to a South Sea Aborigine. We got them.
Or it could be in the botanical gardens somewhere. We don't know.
Okay,
I guess we could look in the newspaper and see if there's a botanical expedition.
Ah,
and
yes.
unfortunately,
Also known as the Indian lilac or the Persian lilac.
this also completely cattywampus our theory that the doctor did it. because it would.
Unless the doctors.
Oh, I don't know. They like to say they often like to say doctors had studied here and grew a small plant of it or something.
Yeah.
Well, but he couldn't have got up to the office to plant the poison without the lift operator knowing he was up there.
Right.
True.
So I
They
think
need
we're
to-
still limited to
Yeah.
someone who could have poisoned, I think, the cup.
Or the
Oof.
pipe stem.
Oh, or the pipe stem.
Yeah, I think pipe stem seems more likely,
Yeah.
Right.
or the kissing bandit. Yeah.
Yeah, the pipe
Kissing
stem.
bandit.
Yeah. I was trying to think if he
That's
like
it.
his own personal
It does
teacup.
look kind of like a lilac.
That's the right color.
Very pale purple.
Mm-hmm.
I still think I think the doctor just got out of it
I think so too.
because it's very reasonable that he would go, "Yep, heart attack," based on the
Symptoms.
symptoms from the poison itself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless that's, yeah, okay, maybe.
I mean, he's a doctor. He knows they're
I
gonna.
mean, there is
the
art
body for
exhibition,
poison.
which is a Japanese gallery.
Mm.
Oh,
Art
we
trivia.
need to talk. We need to talk to the daughter, or the woman who's all upset.
Yeah, but we don't
Because-
know for sure.
Because here's
Oh.
here's my thought.
Alice
She
Springs.
might have smelled the lilac and thought that he was with another girl
Oh,
because it's a perfume.
yeah.
And so she would be able to tell if she had smelled this there or if she'd smelled it before, because maybe she'd smelled it previously.
But was she was upset
watch
before
this
she
back.
got to work.
Right. She was
Oh.
upset. Well, she was. Well, yeah. She was nervous when she got to the lobby with Miss Porter, but then she was upset when they got upstairs at 9 and started crying.
Or
Oh,
maybe
Yeah.
Miss Porter will tell us if she was upset about
Maybe.
some, what it is.
and we still have the following the lead of the letter.
Right.
Yes.
So, do we have enough information or we've got Virginia. Well, should we just go to 25 Southwest Chester?
Yeah. I think so.
Because there were like 24 letters, and the last one you said was different handwriting.
Well, there was one that was different handwriting. That was the one signed by Faye. Ginny was a consistent
Oh,
handwriting, but was
oh,
different
no.
than Faye.
Oh, I misunderstood.
Oh, I
Okay,
thought
okay.
the last letter of the 24 was
No.
different.
Different handwriting.
No.
Oh.
As a point of
Oh.
clarity, the letters were
Okay.
were very clearly intended to be shown as
Different.
different
Different
letters
people.
because we have
Okay.
yoink,
Mm-hmm.
and then we also have
Keep going.
there we go.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Very formal.
Okay, but here's the thing. The guy's apartment was tossed.
Yep.
Yeah, they were looking for something.
The lovers, then what they would have taken was the love letters. What was
True.
this is not a lovers thing,
No.
because the letters were still there. Somebody tossed it, and something else is going on that we don't know about. So I feel like our only solid lead is to try to figure out where this poison came from.
Right.
And remember, didn't he have new deposits or
Yeah.
Right.
We could.
Money.
in the
Mhm.
bank?
Would Bank of England be a good place to look to check when he started getting deposits?
Follow the money.
We had
We can follow the money, but I
slips
kind of
already.
feel like Diggs might be a good place to go to next. I don't know, and I feel I don't know.
Hmm.
Because he was fine when he got into the office, which means his apartment wasn't tossed yet. It had to have been tossed after he got in, so somewhere between 8 and 10. 8 when he died. Because if it was tossed the night before, he wouldn't have been okay when he came in at 8.
Check.
So
He
I don't
left the
think we
normal
know.
apartment.
Yeah. So whoever tossed his apartment,
I mean, it could be Cartwright because he left at noon and maybe was biding his time, but
Maybe we should go talk to Swarthmore.
Yeah, I think Swarthmore is my prime person because
he didn't go home. He went
and could possibly have poisoned the pipe.
Yeah.
Left at the same time as them.
Well, and he worked late with them.
And he wasn't in on time, so he could have been tossing the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he went to the baths or whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
Bell's baths at 9. So yeah, we should try that.
Oh, wait a minute. The baths. I think we should check out the baths.
Let's see where Bell's baths are.
I bet there's maybe that might be the source of the
Lilac?
poison. Yeah.
Although they might have
Bell's baths are at 11 EC.
Okay.
But I mean, I'll do
still
whatever
like
y'all
Swarthmore.
want.
That
Okay.
Swarthmore
Good
might still be
Swarthmore.
at the baths, as for all we know.
Oh, it's one of those, isn't it?
And Swarthmore was supposed to have been at the baths, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but at 9 o'clock, so
At
he
9
would still be
o'clock,
there
because he's not
2
at the
plus
office.
hours later.
Yeah, being at the bath does not eliminate him from tossing the apartment because Tuttle came in at 8.
Yeah.
So he left home before 8. That still gives Swarthmore to toss the apartment and go to the baths.
Yeah.
And it just said he was supposed to be. I don't know if it said he was.
Right.
Okay, but let's just get crazy here.
Mhm.
Where's the bath relative to Swarthmore's apartment?
So the baths are 11 EC.
Okay, 11 EC.
His apartment is in Northwest, isn't it?
Yes, Swarthmore is 39 Northwest.
Okay, so if you look on the map, there's a walking scale in minutes. So
They're not in the Jamboard one, but in the
PDF one, yeah.
Oh.
So where was the bath? Southwest, what number?
11 EC, I believe.
11 East.
Oh my gosh. So that's like over here. And his house is over here somewhere.
Okay, so not so much.
so you,
Where's
took a
Tuttle's
couple-
house in comparison?
It's in the middle here.
Yeah.
Okay, so he could have hit Tuttle's house on the way to the baths.
He could have. But
Okay.
he didn't go towards, he could have been somewhere else because he went this way.
When he
Right.
left
I
the
feel
night
like we should
before.
talk to Swarthmore.
But that's the night before.
That was the night
Yeah.
before. Maybe
He
he
didn't
never-
toss the house till Tuttle left for work. It has to be between when Tuttle left for work
when
and
he,
arrived at the
when he
baths
was dead.
at 9, theoretically.
I think we should talk to Swarthmore.
I think we're gonna find him at the baths, but I'm not positive. That's my guess.
I don't know.
Oh, good point.
Versus
Well-
being at
From
home.
his house, he won't be home. He's still at the baths because it's what
Yeah.
p.m. and
And
he,
even if it isn't, maybe he didn't actually show up at the baths. I don't know.
There's that too, yeah.
Okay.
It did say he had an appointment at the bath.
An appointment at 9. Didn't say if he actually arrived.
Okay, so just so I'm making sure I'm tracking this right, and then this is our scale.
because based on this game, it's 10 a.m., right? Because
Well, it's going to be after
They're
10 a.m. because
pre-written.
Lestrade found out about it at 10 a.m.
The time doesn't really progress in this game.
Yeah.
I kind of
At
feel
this
like,
point.
right, that he
10
could still
a.m..
be there.
Yeah, he's still there.
I mean,
He's
how
still-
long you spend at the baths, I really don't know.
If it's like a
I'm guessing it's like a Turkish bath where it's got, yeah, like lots of spot stuff.
So you be there a couple hours, maybe, I would think.
at least, yeah. And if he's
Yeah.
got an appointment there, who knows? Maybe he's
Right.
getting a facial and a manicure.
Right.
Yeah, I'm still thinking that's far enough, though.
That it's a no-go.
I don't know.
I don't necessarily think he's our culprit. I
Scary.
think he was trying to help solve something, but I think he can give us information.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm okay taking a lead to just see what we get out of it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
we should do something.
That's Swarthmore's office.
Wait, what?
Swarthmore's home is
No.
where we're going, or the baths,
Bats.
I think
Okay.
we decided on the baths.
and the
Yeah.
address there.
Maybe.
11 EC.
Yeah, because then we can find out, did he go to his appointment? Is he still there? If he's still there, then we get to talk to him. Either way, we get information.
Hopefully, yeah.
Either way, we get information. Okay.
Right. I just don't want to go to his house and be like, he's not home. And we're like, oh,
Yeah.
I feel like either way we're gonna go,
that.
it's gonna be he's not here, and then you'll have to go to the other one and it'd be a wasted trip. But I'm hoping.
well, so
Well-
flip a coin.
If this is a wasted trip, it's a lot of words for a wasted trip.
Woohoo!
They're going to tell us a menu of their services.
Now we're just
me
gonna
get
feel
my
bad
pen.
because we all want to go spa day.
Yeah.
Okay. We enter Bell's Baths and are approached by a seedy-looking elder, broom in hand, whose generously tattooed forearms tell a tale of life on the salt sea.
Aha.
Ah,
Shipwrecked now, he seems to us as out of place in the opulent surroundings of this leisure class haunt. But since no one else seems to question his presence, and his directions to the manager's office prove accurate, we do not dwell on it overmuch.
Can we sniff him?
Does
Is
he
he
have a
Aborigine?
aroma of lilacs?
Roll perception.
woohoo!
Our knock on the manager's door is answered by a booming, "Come in." Once inside, we find Mr. Filbert Reike, a giant man of both height and breadth.
Reiki? Spell that?
Raike.
Reiki. Yeah.
Reiki.
Reiki.
Ah,
He is dressed in a broad, striped suit, which, given his tremendous bulk, borders on the ridiculous.
All right, who got strangled?
A diamond stick pin of considerable
He
size
moved the
and
sarcophagus.
and doubtful value gleams from the folds of his black cravat. His hair is slicked down with enough sweet-smelling pomade to cause tearing at
smelling.
close range. In all respects of sound, sight, and smell, Mr. Reiki is a formidable personage indeed. With the aid of what must be very powerful legs, he rises from behind his desk to greet us. At first, his manner is extremely affable. No doubt he initially thinks of us as prospective customers, and so exudes an appropriate oily charm. But once we make known our business, his manner abruptly changes. He plops down into his chair and eyes us with a mixture of caution and malevolence. Mr. Harry Swarthmore is a member of the club, is he not? I believe he was here this morning. Did he meet anyone? I do not pry into my customers' private affairs. Whether he met anyone or not, I would not know. Was Mr. Melvin Tuttle a member? Ah, yes. Well, until last week. He resigned. Did he give any reason for his resignation? Not that I recall. Did Mr. Swarthmore bring Mr. Tuttle into the club? No. I mean, I have no idea. I'm afraid I have no more time for your questions. I'm a very busy man. Good day. As we are about to leave, the old salt first encounters approaches us again. Now, if you've come to old Jack Jensen in the first place, it has saved you the royal runaround, he whispers, stabbing his thumb to emphasize his point. We understand and pass him a few coins. Thank ye. Let's go down well tonight at the Bar of the Gold. Now, down to the cases. Mr. Swarthmore met Mr. Livingston this morning. Mr. Livingston, the builder? That's him. He owns the place. Used to be first mate aboard the Glenda, sailing the China trade. Back in '58, the captain met with an unfortunate accident, or so it was said. Mr. Livingston brought the Glenda through. The owners was so pleased that they up and gives him the captain's share and a fat bonus to boot. That's when he quits the sailor's life and set up for himself ashore. We was shipmates on that voyage. So was Mr. Reiki. Of course, he was a mite less plump in them days. Anyway, this morning, Mr. Reiki cleaned out Mr. Tuttle's locker and brought his stuff to the office. Mr. Swarthmore and Mr. Livingston were there waiting for a look-see. So Mr. Swarthmore and Mr. Livingston are fast friends. Been thick as thieves for a long time. Mr. Tuttle joined in, 3-4 months back. What were they looking for in the locker? Don't know. Didn't find it, though. Swarthmore was in a dither, let me tell you. We thank him for his help. He jingles the coins as if to say, "You're welcome." So Livingston So the captain of the ship, the Glenda, met with an unfortunate accident. Livingston takes over, gets back. Everyone's so ecstatic to get their ship back. They give him a big pile of cash. He decides to go off and do something else with it. Ranky takes his share, which was smaller, and opens a bathhouse.
So
I think he's our provider.
Livingston could get the poison and possibly poison the captain.
Yep. Did they give us a first name or initial for Livingston?
Livingston was not mentioned here.
Wonder if he's in the directory.
There's 2 in the directory, a Cedric and an ES.
What about under builders?
Oh, good.
Builders. Architects. There's an architect in the building, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's not Livingston. It's
Hmm.
Buttress and something else.
Well, I don't think that was a name. It was just, I mean, it wasn't a person's name. That was the name of the company, right?
Yeah, it seemed almost too...
Brickbat and Buttress. No, I think that was the name of the 2 architects, I thought. But
Oh, I was thinking buttress as in like an architectural structure.
That was my read on
Yeah.
it, too. Is that
I thought
he
it was funny that they were funny names for architects.
I don't see an architect section, but I could be mistaken.
All I wrote was there's an architect on the 2nd floor of the building.
Let's
Yeah.
see.
I can look it back up again.
Well, I don't know that we have to necessarily pursue him because otherwise I think they'd have given us his name.
Hmm.
But I think he probably gets the stuff for Swarthmore.
Well, he doesn't have the opportunity to do the poisoning, but he could have provided the poison.
Right.
He's obviously pally with Swarthmore,
Mm-hmm.
all working on something, and then Tuttle got
Discovered it or was
Out or
blackmailing him with
something?
it or
Or Tuttle
And
was...
they had to, and was blackmailing them.
Ooh, Tuttle found out about it and is blackmailing them.
And they were looking for what he had on them.
The evidence. They're looking
evidence.
for evidence.
And
Okay,
that's why
I like
they're so
that.
upset.
I like that idea.
It's also
definitely
possible
evidence of something.
that Tuttle was just part of it. They brought Tuttle in,
Right.
and he's been taking his cut of whatever they were up to. And then
What
he
if
got
they were-
cold feet, so they
They're
whacked him.
swindling contracts or something. I mean, trust is a pretty good thing to be in charge of if you want to, like, snag some money.
Hmm.
Because it's got to be some. Well, I would think it's something in connection with the business that Swarthmore, Sloan, and Cartwright are in.
Yeah.
The question is really kind of was Cartwright trying to get a run away from something, or was it genuinely a vacation that came up? It came up very suddenly, so I feel like Cartwright could be a lead.
Yeah, but he's not connected to any of these other people.
Should we try Swarthmore's home?
I'm half tempted to check on, suggest we check on Cartwright's home on the possibility that we're going to find a dead body.
That's kind of what I'm wondering: is if Cartwright's dead or hiding or in there terrified or something.
But, okay, quick
We
pause
also-
in this current action to give you some more information. We're late enough in now. I don't feel like I'm cheating by sharing these.
Oh,
Our questions are as follows. Who killed Melvin Tuttle? How was he killed? Why was he killed? Who was the killer's accomplice? To whom was Tuttle secretly engaged?
Ooh.
For bonus points, why did Cartwright leave the office suddenly? Why did Miss Springs see Tuttle the morning of his murder? And what is Diggs's hobby?
I think Alice was upset because she found out Tuttle was engaged to somebody else. What if he was secretly engaged to Victoria, Veronica, whatever her name, and Alice Springs found out? And
I'm
that's why
taking
she
it.
was upset.
I feel like maybe Miss Spring might have some information for us, but I could be wrong. Let's see.
Yeah, I think she would too. What was the question about Cartwright? Why did he leave early, right?
Why did he leave? Yeah.
And she might know that too, so let's go ask her.
All right, should we do Spring then? Alice Spring?
Yeah.
Kind of feels like Cartwright, Spring, and Diggs all need to be visited, but
And
hoping one of us can give a
and
one of them.
Ginny M at some point too. I think we need to follow up on his fiance.
Yeah,
I
she
think we
might have
just-
some information
I don't
too.
think we know enough about who she is to find her yet, do we? Oh,
Well,
well,
then
we've got the address.
The
We got
address is on the letters.
Yeah.
Right.
What's the address for Miss Spring?
It 46 EC.
46 EC. Here we go. 46 EC. Miss Alice Spring has evidently done a great deal of weeping, as her red eyes and puffy face testify. Notwithstanding, she is still a very attractive lady. Seated in her small but comfortable flat, she composes herself to answer our questions. This morning, I arrived at the building a little before 9 o'clock, I suppose. I'm not sure of the exact time. Mrs. Porter and I rode the lift to the 4th floor together. Mr. Tuttle, she threatens to dissolve into a flood of tears, but a few quick dabs with a soggy handkerchief save the situation. Mr. Tuttle, she begins again, bravely, was in his office. While Mrs. Porter went around to the executive offices, I went in to see Melvin, Mr. Tuttle. Your relationship with Mr. Tuttle was more than professional. We had been seeing each other for some 7 or 8 months, yes. But Mr. Tuttle ended it last week.
Mm-hmm.
Then your business with him that morning was not personal? No, I mean, yes, it was. He had given me a gift, a parting gift, if you will, and I had decided to return it. When he ended your relationship, it must have been quite a shock to you. I was deeply hurt, but on reflection, Melvin had never made any promises. We had never talked of a more permanent situation. Did he give you a reason for ending it? He said that he had met another woman, that he was serious about her, and didn't think it fair to me to carry on. After you saw him that morning, you came back to your desk and remained there. Yes, right up until, on the edge throughout, she plunges into the abyss. We do what we can to comfort her, but finding the task impossible, we apologize for our intrusion and leave.
Oh, darn.
Hope you have more info. Oh, we were right on that, at least.
So he had been seeing both women though.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
Sounds like he was seeing her longer and then met this one and got engaged.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then there's Miss Fay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which we don't know.
Kind of feel like Cartwright or Diggs.
Okay, so he definitely was not engaged with her. She was definitely crying because of the whole let's break up.
Break up.
Mm-hmm.
Returned a gift.
She didn't say what the
Didn't
gift
say what the gift was, yeah.
He had given her a gift. She had decided to return it, and then he ended up dead. Toffee, maybe?
Maybe.
Why would you return?
No, that's not a really good gift. You just eat that.
Yeah. That's
I
not
don't
something.
So it's temporary,
Something
like
with
their
the ears?
relationship.
Yeah.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Ooh,
Harsh.
Wow.
I say Cartwright.
I agree.
Okay, Cartwright was at...
We're going to check out Cartwright's apartment and see if we find a dead body.
Yeah, he was at
Yeah.
32 Northwest. Or maybe he'll find out. Maybe he was being blackmailed.
Maybe his wife or landlady, or maybe we'll get to explore his house.
32 Northwest. Oh. Oh.
Oh.
That's good.
I have to turn the page. At the door to the Cartwright home, a maid informs us that Mr. Cartwright is not at home. Our request to see Mrs. Cartwright is instead met with some resistance, and it is only after our business is explained and that explanation carried inside that we are admitted. Miss Fay Cartwright
Ooh.
is waiting for us in the sitting room. With a few soft-spoken words, she dismisses the maid who hovers over her protectively and offers us a seat. In her late 40s, she is an attractive woman, once possessed of great beauty, now waning. She appears very pale, the more so due to the contrast of her very dark hair and eyes. Can you tell us anything about Mr. Cartwright's whereabouts? No. I sent our butler James to inquire at the Criterion. It's Criterion. To inquire at the Criterion Club. But I was hoping you could tell me something. He came home early yesterday and left this. She hands us a note which reads, I received a note at the office. I know everything. I did not know I could have been so blind. If you love him, I will not stand in your way. Whitney. It should be noted that the blue ink is identical to the letter we found signed by one K. I'm sorry, Faye. However, the handwriting is not a match. At least by my eye.
Okay. Well, no, because the one was written by Faye and he wrote the other one, so. So she was having an affair with Tuttle? And Cartwright found out?
Yep.
Dang it!
All right. Well, so now we know that.
Red herring.
Well, yeah, it's a little neater.
Mm.
Oh,
What
yeah,
did
and the
Faye's-
love is different.
What did Faye's letter say again? I didn't write that down.
I cannot accept that it is over. Please, please come to see me. I love you beyond all caring.
Okay.
Okay.
So he was playing the town and then got serious with this one woman and broke it off with everybody else.
But there's
Cartwright
more.
found out.
But there's more.
In,
But there's
yeah. In answer to our questioning look, she explains. I know at least one of you are like, can we just ask her what's up? Roll persuasion. Oh, look, a natural 20. My husband must have found out about Mr. Tuttle and me. The irony of it is that Mr. Tuttle broke off the affair several months ago. She is silent a moment and then goes on to tell us the whole story. Whitney is quite dedicated to the firm, so much so that he is often unable to attend various social functions. So as not to disappoint me, Whitney will have one of the junior clerks escort me while he attends to the firm's business. Melvin, Mr. Tuttle, received that assignment for the first time last June. He was very different from the others. They looked upon it as a duty, but Mr. Tuttle seemed to genuinely enjoy my company. He made me feel young and beautiful and desirable. Finally, he declared his love for me. Then, 2.5 months ago, Melvin seemed to change. When I questioned him, he admitted that he was in love with another woman. He wanted to break off with me. I had not seen or talked to him since that time. 3 days ago, I sent him a message that I wanted to see him. His reply, which I've only just read, was quite firm. He said that it was out of the question. Do you know anything about the note that your husband alluded to? No, I can't imagine who knew about the affair or why they would wait until after it was over to expose it. If you find my husband, please tell him that I love him and that I will make it up to him. Thank you, Mrs. Cartwright. Sorry to have troubled you. As we leave, we notice the sign on Arbrecht Co. and Chemist's door next door, which reads, closed for vacation.
What was the name of the chemist?
Arbrecht and Co. Chemists.
Ambrecht.
So they live next to a pharmacy.
Yeah, which could probably get stuff from. Well, they dealt with South China Seas and stuff.
I think that's a red herring.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too, because they're close.
Yeah.
Plus, it doesn't seem like I think he's gone to his club and gotten drunk. Instead of like going back and raided and killed. Plus, it's still a love triangle. There's got to be something else.
I also feel somewhat obligated to throw out there the whole like, dudes, evidence, just pay attention. Ask them how their day went.
Yeah.
Girls are not complicated. Ask them how their day was. Compliment their shoes. Make sure you find clothes for them with pockets.
It's all about the pockets.
Less about the shoes, more about the pockets.
You
I
know,
know.
just saying.
I have this conversation with my daughter and her friends though, because now they all want to wear leggings, none of which have pockets. Do you know
Oh,
how
be
long
careful.
women fought for pockets? And you're gonna throw it all away.
My leggings that I'm currently wearing right now have pockets.
I understand they exist. We own none of them.
Okay.
They're too expensive. Don't buy them.
So I feel like okay, so we've now figured out the letter that was in his collection from Faye.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm wondering if somehow he got the letter if Cartwright got the letter at the office
I think
and left it when he tossed the house. No, that doesn't make sense.
No, I don't think he
I
bought
still
the house.
think-
I think he
the
found
other
out somehow.
chick, the secretary that was also in love with him, tipped off
House
the husband to get rid of the wife.
competition, maybe.
Ooh.
I think Spring gave Cartwright the heads up.
That could be.
I don't think any of that has to do with the murder.
No, I think it's no, because I don't think it's with the murder. I think this is just bad stuff.
We just don't have any evidence of motive yet. I mean, I really think Swarthmore did it. Livingston's the accomplice,
Yeah,
but we still don't have any motive.
right.
No.
We don't know
Gotta
where that
be-
money came from.
Right.
Did we check Tuttle's? Oh, Tuttle's apartment was tossed.
It was tossed.
Yep.
I wonder if I kind of feel like
He-
Diggs is the next logical one because they came up at the same time and then Diggs didn't get promoted and Tuttle did, which made him argue with Sloan, which made him leave. But Diggs might have some information as to what was going on. And he just left
Maybe.
recently, so he might know
Maybe.
he might know why Tuttle got promoted, which might lead into his murder.
Yeah. Did we talk to Swarthmore? Did we ever find him?
No, we just we haven't gone to his house yet.
Go to his
We could try
house.
his house. Because I kind of feel I don't know that we want to go to Criterion for Cartwright because I feel like he's just going to talk about finding out about the affair. But we could try
Yeah.
Swarthmore's house
Let's try Swarthmore's house.
because if he has,
I like
if he's
that
got
idea.
But at least we're
poison
sure
or-
that he's connected in some way. So
yeah,
that'll help.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Swarthmore.
Swarthmore's house
Let's
was
swap.
39 Northwest.
39
Oh,
Northwest.
and he could have. Yeah, when he left the night before, he could have been going to meet Livingston, or get the poison, or follow up on something from.
Yeah, where?
We still don't know where he went. We just know he didn't go home.
We don't. Yeah, we don't know where he went. Maybe he'll tell us. Ha ha
Yeah,
ha ha.
that's what I'm hoping. Could happen.
Henry Swarthmore is a tall, thin man whose manner, cool and distant, is both irritating and intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us an explanation of Mr. Tuttle's rapid rise in the firm? It is quite simple, really. He was qualified to do the job. A bright lad, we shall miss him. May we take it that you sponsored Mr. Tuttle? In point of fact, Mr. Cartwright sponsored Tuttle, if sponsored is the right word. You said that he was qualified to do the job. What exactly was the job, at least as far as the first promotion to the executive level? To take some of the burdens off the senior partners by dealing with lesser matters that normally come to our attention. And why was Mr. Tuttle's given a junior partnership and Mr. Diggs not? Diggs proved unsatisfactory, I'm afraid. He was supposed to solve little problems, not create more. Tuttle, on the other hand, showed initiative, spirit, and a good sense of judgment. Mr. Cartwright was very high on him, and I agreed and went along. You worked late with Mr. Tuttle on the evening before his death, is that correct? Yes. Sir Sidney asked me to lend a hand when Mr. Cartwright quite inexplicably left the office. There were some very important contracts to be finished and mailed by the next post. We thought that they were Mr. Tuttle's responsibility. Yes, but under the supervision of Mr. Cartwright. Sir Sidney evidently felt the contracts were too important to be solely Tuttle's responsibility. Do you have any idea why Mr. Cartwright quit his post at such a crucial juncture? No idea. You worked with Mr. Tuttle and Miss Walker that evening. Did anyone join you? Did anything strange happen? No. We worked until 11 or so. Mr. Tuttle and I put Miss Walker in a cab. He took the next cab to his home, and I took the third to mine.
Liar.
Thank you, Mr. Swarthmore.
Maybe Sir Sidney would tell us more about these contracts that he's working on. That sounds very suspicious.
Yep.
I'm guessing not, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could
sure.
talk to Miss Walker.
We did. No, we did
We
Miss
talked
Spring.
to, no, we talked to Miss Spring. We
talked to
didn't
Miss Spring.
Walker.
Miss Walker is the typist, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the other one who stayed late.
I don't, she lives at 30 Northwest. She was the one that went to Piccadilly.
Okay. She
and,
is
and
not.
by this point, Sherlock has already solved it, right?
Yeah,
Isn't
and
it-
that's what I'm thinking.
Probably.
We're at like stage 7, so
Yeah, we're still going to break. If we're on track, if we can get the last couple questions, we'll break 50.
I'm trying.
We
So
won't.
one of the
Well, maybe
things is what is
Talk
Diggs'
to Jake
hobby?
to find out what problems he was creating, because maybe that would give us some insight into.
Yeah.
We might
Yeah,
also
and if
learn
we
his
go
hobby.
see Diggs, we'll at least figure out his hobby, and then we'll get points for so be a walk,
Right.
nothing else.
Yeah, it's no loss there.
Let's
Yeah.
go see Diggs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also still think we need to check on this mysterious fiance.
I agree with that too.
Yeah.
How would
Well,
we
we're
do
hoping
that?
this. Okay. So Diggs and then her,
Yeah.
or her and then Diggs.
Let's do Diggs first.
Okay.
I'll put down Ginny as our
Say-
because we have the return address from all the posts that she
Right.
mailed.
Right.
Although I still, I'm suddenly very
Watch,
nervous.
Diggs was
I don't know if it's going to give us information about who did it if we think that it's
Swarthmore.
Livingston and Swarthmore.
But it would
But we
confirm.
need to find out why.
It might confirm that who he's engaged to, and that
Mhm.
might at least get us another couple of points and a wash again.
Yeah, but but it wouldn't be a wash, or we can just make that our assumption and go for it.
True.
Well, the other thing is we think we know how he was killed. I mean, we know he was killed from poison, but we don't know exactly how. We're pretty sure who killed him.
Mm-hmm.
And his accomplice. All right. Let's
Oh,
do Diggs.
it looks like Nephilip is watching us. So hi there.
Sweet. Is that someone we know?
Yeah, she was a co-host on the Schools and Libraries podcast and has been on board games a couple times.
Yeah. Whoa, we actually have a lot of people lurking. So
but
cool.
I spread the word.
We'll appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Got to prove valuable somehow. It's not solving a crime, so
Oh, we're just happy to have you for your company, my man. Always think of new people and fun people and people that are smarter than me and Jenny combined, which is hard because she's pretty damn smart. She picked me.
you're shopping up the wrong stream. Then I'm not that smart.
Okay, so again, a nice collection of data when we visit Mr. Diggs. The short trip from the front door to the back of the house, we learn more than we need to know. Hold on.
What?
Oh, no, that's right.
What?
Okay,
So as we're leaving Swarthmore's, we find out stuff.
let me start this over. The name threw me for a loop, but it'll make sense in a moment. During the short trip from the front door to the back of the house, we learn more than we need to know about Bertha Puddle's personal life. Weighing in at something close to 15 stone, Diggs's landlady flounces and bounces, flashes a teasing smile and bats her eyelashes, all in a coquettish display that borders on the grotesque. It seems that she has lately buried her fourth husband and is unused to the absence of intimate male companionship, in her words. She quotes her age at 25, a considerable understatement, and proudly displays her perfect white teeth by way of proof. Fortunately, we are saved from viewing other parts of her anatomy by our arrival at the small flower garden at the back of the house.
Ooh.
Harold Diggs, who is puttering about, visibly cringes when Mrs. Puddles calls his name. No doubt he fears that he is targeted as husband number 5. It is not until Miss Puddle is well away that the color returns to his cheeks. Diggs is a tall man in his mid-30s. Decked out in the apparel of an amateur horticulturist, he still retains a serious look about him, a look that most would find comforting, even prerequisite in a solicitor. We quickly explain our business and ask about his relationship with Tuttles. We got on well enough, I suppose. I will admit I did not like the man, and I thought that others were more qualified for his position, but I bore him no malice. You resigned because of his promotion to junior partner, is that correct? Yes. I felt it was the final insult to me. I had been with the firm for 11 years, Tuttle but 2. My work, I say quite immodestly, was superior. When he was promoted and I was not, I felt my prospects with the firm were limited, so I resigned.
What kind of trouble did you cause? Sorry.
That's not the next question. Your dislike was based solely on professional rivalry then? No, it was much more personal. I hold Miss Spring in high regard.
Fiance.
I tried to warn her against involvement with the man. He was a cad, but to no avail. I was sorry to see her taken in by his glibness. Mrs. Puttle reappears at the back door with a delivery man in tow. Curiously, he looks as uncomfortable as all men who come under her sway. As quickly as he can, he deposits his load and flees.
Speedy delivery.
Flowers.
Just her type. All right.
We can't help but notice the delivery comes from Grayson's nursery, and that the 2 bags of wheat killer are clearly marked with a skull and crossbones. We finish our interview, but are reluctant to run the gauntlet back through the house. Seeing our predicament, Diggs informs us that there is an exit to the alley behind.
Well,
So his hobby is horticulture.
Yeah.
He has access to he might possibly have access to the flowers, but it sounds like it was a tree and not a flower. So
Yeah, it's a tree.
Yeah, it's not him.
Doesn't
Much
grow.
as we-
no, I think that's kind of a throw off. But his hobby is horticulture, I'm guessing.
Mhm.
Okay.
We could always check to see if anyone has been growing that particular plant.
Well, I don't
would
think
you
it's
find that out?
it's growable here in.
Well,
Yeah.
England was notorious for smuggling seeds out of other countries and figuring out how to grow them.
Yeah, I mean, they're notorious for many things. Yes.
Well, yeah, that's true. I'm wondering if there's anybody in the informants that would be good. Because we didn't use them last time, and it turns out we could have.
Yeah.
But I still do we want to go to Jeannie's house and see if we can figure out her?
So
Well,
since I don't think it's this guy, I don't think we really need to know what kind of trouble he created.
No.
right.
He
Not
kind
really.
of told us what kind of trouble based on the fact that he tried to warn off one of the women from the victim, and that could have been the cause of trouble.
Yeah.
Possibly.
More
I
personal
think it's
trouble.
more he. I don't know.
He probably wasn't. He probably wasn't a
Would-
standout.
Would Scotland Yard have looked into this bank account thing and maybe have more information on that?
Scotland Yard
In the
would.
past, we've had to go to the bank, haven't we?
We have not been to the bank yet.
No,
I
not in this one, but we have in previous, right?
Yes.
I would bet it was just cash deposits from blackmail, but
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
But why?
so we can't talk to Mr. Cartwright, right? That's a thing we
I
can't.
don't think so, because he's supposedly out of the country.
We can.
Well, she said he was staying at the Criterion Club.
so she had sent the butler to check for him there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But we still don't know where he is. But I would assume at this point.
I think he's just upset about the
Criterion
Thank-
Club.
yeah.
Where's that?
Don't worry now.
Good question.
Why?
I
No.
know there, I think.
Feel like that's where we need to go.
But why? What do you think he has to do with this? Because I don't think he has anything to do with this.
You don't think? Okay. All right then.
No, I think he's pissed off about the affair with his wife.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. But I just don't recall anything that connects him to what Swarthmore and Tuttle were engaged in, whatever that was.
Maybe we should try to talk to that.
Well, he's a partner at the law firm, right?
Yes.
So, and he left.
Well, and he was in charge of contracts.
Is he the guy that stormed out? and left early.
He was the guy that left before noon on the unintended.
Yeah, so I mean, he was.
Well, and if we think it's something to do with contracts, that you might be the guy to talk to.
But there was somebody else we wanted to talk to first. So who was that?
Well, we were going to talk to the one woman, see if that was his fiance.
Oh well, I mean that's.
Wait, did we talk to Swarthmore or no?
We did, yes.
did.
Oh,
It was kind of useless.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, we went. Yeah.
He said Diggs was unsatisfactory and caused problems.
oh, right.
Right. Yeah, not completely worthless because it did tie 39 Northwest. It did tie in
I'm gonna go with useless.
okay.
Didn't give us the information to solve it.
It tied Cartwright and Tuttle together.
Yeah.
It almost still makes me kind of wonder if maybe we should just go back to a simple explanation for all of this. We just have to figure out how Cartwright got the poison to Tuttle.
No.
Because that's the simplest explanation.
Well, and that's
The
why I was
simple
thinking.
explanation that he got it from the apothecary next door and put it on the pipe. But if
Because
he left at noon and he doctored something at Tuttle's and he didn't get it until 9, it's unreasonable to think he wouldn't have done his pipe or he wouldn't have had a cup of tea or whatever. So I think the time's too long.
Although
I think he told his wife off and went to the club to drink himself to happiness.
There's no happiness. There's only pain.
Pretty much. And in the club, somebody eventually steals your hat.
okay, I made that.
So
up.
it's possible that they had to go and, the apothecary had to go refill their supplies of poison berries.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean,
I don't think so. All the clues lead to that South Asian connection. So I think it's
yeah, which I think is through Livingston.
The Bell's Baths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Swarthmore killed him. Livingston's the accomplice that provided the poison. They were engaged in something and Tuttle was blackmailing them.
Let's talk to the girlfriend. I think that's it. Maybe she knows.
Sure, maybe, yeah.
Okay, so let me write down our
Let's
current
fiance.
state. Our current game state is this. We believe it is Swarthmore.
Mm-hmm.
How poison, specifically
Also-
China berry.
Yeah.
Why? Blackmail?
There was because Swarthmore and Livingston went through the stuff in Tuttle's locker at the Bats. So they were
Which
looking
implies
for
that they might have-
something.
And they probably also trashed his house. So they're looking
Right.
for blackmail stuff, whatever. it is.
Maybe he
Maybe the
gave
girlfriend
something
passed
to
it.
The girlfriend.
Virginia. Yeah.
And maybe that would make their fortune so they could get married.
Right. Oh, she was
Aha.
involved because she wanted to marry him and he had money to get married.
Right.
She was waiting. All right. What was the address on the return post?
Oh, I think it was 25 Southwest.
25 Southwest.
I think.
All right, here we go. 25 Southwest.
Oh, gotta get to my writing.
25 Southwest. Puts us at, oh dear.
Going through the newspapers looking for something that might help.
Okay.
Doesn't sound good.
There we go.
Oh, clever girl.
Mm-hmm.
At 25 Chichester Street, Charles
Is the
Good.
typist? Oh, sorry. Keep going.
Charles Good comes to the door at his butler's request. Melvin Tuttle asks Good, never heard of the man. Are you sure you have the correct address? Is there a person living here by the name of... Uh-oh.
Oh, you lost Jenny.
We lost Jenny.
No.
Uh-oh. The
Hold that
poison's
thought.
spreading.
I'm going to go do a quick tech support. We'll be right back. Okay, we're mostly back now. We're somewhat prepared for the absence as Donald is wrapping up whatever he's doing. But before we continue our intermission, which I guess is more of like a between acts 2 and 3, because I feel like we're on the back end of this. Like we're cracking this case open. We're into the home stretch now. We're gonna hit the 3-hour mark, which here's my theory on the 90 minutes. That's if you sit down by yourself.
Yeah.
Or if you sit down and you're very dedicated to it.
Yes.
Or
Not
you're
telling
all
random
like-minded.
stories.
You're all like, yes, we should all go here.
Yeah.
And
You're escape rooming it. You're like,
Yes.
yes, this is much time we have
Yes.
done.
like you set a timer, you're like, we have to get this done in 90 minutes. But if you're playing casually, it's like, I don't think so.
Or wine, it's fine.
So what was the question you were posing to everybody?
Oh, how did you, how did you come across Sherlock Holmes? How were you introduced to Holmes? Or the Sherlock Holmes mythology books, movie, whatever. When did they come into your?
When did you first learn of the master of deduction?
There you go. And I have the world's lamest. I don't know. I honestly
Really?
cannot remember. I think it was elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was reading through the library. I think I came across it in the library.
I think mine was a cartoon, possibly a knockoff of The Great Mouse Detective.
Okay.
It's in the right ballpark, but I actually think I may have seen a cartoon like Encyclopedia Brown styled, like mini mystery kind of thing with him.
Okay.
Because I also know I stumbled onto a PBS episode with him that made no sense to me at like 7, and I was completely freaked out by it.
Who?
So
How were you introduced to Sherlock Holmes? How did you first discover him or come across him or book, movie, cartoon?
Me?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It was either a BBC thing, or it was no. It had to be one of the old Sherlock Holmes movies on Saturday morning or something.
Okay.
Yeah, that seems.
Because I was
about
looking
right.
for Doctor Who, and I got Sherlock Holmes instead.
Oh, funny.
I kept wanting to see the circus, but it was never a circus. It was just these idiots walking around silly.
I do know. I found a Sherlock Holmes consulting detective video game.
I eventually had that for the TurboGrafx 16.
Yeah, I found one. It was this. It was the first case from here. They had done it with live action,
Yes,
and I found it as vaporware. Sometime
I think I
ago.
still have those newspapers. Oh my gosh, do I have the newspapers for this? I don't know that I ever completed that.
But I couldn't figure out what I was doing with the game because I was always used to like adventure games giving you like a hint of where to go next, and it was like, go. And I'm like, where? But it was all live. It was all of these scenes live action,
Oh, wow.
Fun.
That's fun.
and in the same format. You would type in where you want to go, and it would tell you if you could, and if you could, it would play the live action video there.
It was one of the earliest CD games.
Yeah. Well, and that was when full motion video was like super cutting edge. That was the era of there was a poker game with Jonathan Frakes and Joe Piscopo and Morgan
my
Fairchild. And you could play poker
goodness.
with them.
Yes. Well, and then there were the Gabriel Knight mysteries where they had the cut scenes too,
Yep.
where they were full
Gabriel
motion
Knight 2 was the full motion video.
Yeah.
And 3 they went back to not doing that, and they brought back Tim Curry as the voice of Gabriel Knight.
Yes.
Um,
Which was awesome.
Because Tim Curry. Okay. We left
Yeah.
off.
Because you can tell a lot about a person by where they first heard of Tim Curry.
Yeah, that's true.
Clue.
Yep.
Sorry.
So
Rocky
weirdly though,
Horror.
but weirdly uniting Tim Curry and Jeremy Brett Sherlock Holmes. So the first Watson was David Burt, and he was on the British TV show Cluedo which was the British version of Clue. So there you go.
Oh my
Nice.
On that note,
He was trying to solve it. Yeah.
at 25 Chichester Street, Charles Good comes to the door at his butler's request. Madeline Tuttle? He asks Good. Never heard the name. Are you sure you have the right address? Is there a person living here by the name of Ginny? There is no one here by that name. You definitely have the wrong address. The door is shut and we are about to leave in defeat when a young woman leans out of the first floor window and calls for our attention. Wiggins detaches himself from the group and, sweeping off his derby hat, approaches her. The interview is short. She retreats back inside and Wiggins rejoins us. That was Emily Good, the daughter of the house. She wouldn't tell me the circumstances, but it seems that this address was but a way station for the letters from Tuttle to Emily's dear friend, Virginia Monroe.
Ah.
Now, from a game point of view, we now know that this was actually the Good house. And we now can say with some confidence that Ginny is actually Miss Virginia Monroe, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now we can continue to
Not the daughter.
Yeah, we can continue to pursue this more if we want to. If we think Miss Monroe would have more information about how the money was coming in.
No.
We don't get points for it. I don't care.
But yeah, from
Well, we know. Yeah.
The thing that they were looking for that might give us a clue to the motive. But
Maybe Cartwright is the right way to go.
I'm also nervous that the poison, saying that the how is poison, we're not going to be able to give ourselves full credit.
No, because we don't know exactly how the poison was administered.
Right.
It almost had to be his pipe.
yeah,
I agree.
he must have
There had to be
puffed out the pipe
something.
and then taken a drink
Ooh.
of the
Ooh.
tea. 'Cause that was
Yeah.
less than would have killed him on the teacup.
And it was only on the biscuit where he bit.
right.
Donald, did
What
you
do
have
we
like
know?
a moment?
Well, the Criterion Club's like a man's smoking club kind of thing,
Mhm.
right? Didn't. Oh, okay. It probably wasn't actually in a Sherlock Holmes thing, but it sounds like the kind of thing that where Mycroft lives his life and Sherlock goes
Diogenes
to
Club.
yeah, kind of like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would
Yeah, it
bet.
was a gentleman's club. He probably lives there now, instead of at his house. Because they usually had rooms for the members,
Mhm.
and they
Yeah.
could always stay.
So I would bet. Well, of course, I've wanted to go and check this place out already, so I may be biased.
I think it could work. Cartwright might have
And-
the info.
And Gentlemen's Club back then means something else a lot different than what it means
Yeah.
today.
But
Yes.
what info are we looking for?
I think we're hoping that Cartwright will know how Tuttle was getting the money and what Tuttle was doing. Plus, he was in charge of the contracts, which Tuttle and Swarthmore stayed late to work on. The other option is, was it Brenda Walker? She's
Or-
a typist.
or
Typist.
Or checking out that Livingston guy who is the friend of
Yeah, we could
Or-
try checking out
well,
Livingston.
he might not want to talk to us.
I think I looked him up and there wasn't. We
Oh,
couldn't figure out exactly what Livingston it was.
that's right.
There were multiple
Yeah, 'cause there's
Livingstons.
two of them.
Yeah.
Although, there's another theory
Two.
here. Do we have a list of doctors?
Dr. Livingston,
Yeah,
I
I think so.
presume. Well, he was a builder though, wasn't he?
Oh,
This one
that's
is,
right.
Yeah.
He's a builder.
We don't have builders listed in the.
And we could go to his place of work. The office, the builder's office that's in that
But
building.
we don't know
It's in
if
the
that's
same
his
building,
place.
so
in
it's
building.
it's not a separate option.
Oh,
There's
okay.
no doctors.
Got you.
Got it.
There's
I'm content with what we have, so I'm happy to go along with anybody that wants to go see someone else.
so.
Go ahead.
No, I was just recapping.
Who do we think did the murdering?
Swarthmore.
Swarthmore and Livingston.
Yeah.
Well, Swarthmore with Livingston as the accomplice to get the stuff.
Why Swarthmore? Don't we have to know why?
We believe
No.
that he was being blackmailed. We have to know why. We need the motive.
Yep.
So we think it's a form of blackmail, and we believe it was poison. We still haven't exactly said how the poison got to him.
On the pipe. But we don't know
We believe
when.
it was on the
I
pipe.
don't know for sure.
But we don't know when it was put there. I don't know if we need to know that.
No.
Probably not.
At some point when they
I mean,
were
we can
working
resolve
together
that.
the night before. But motive now, we don't have a solid motive.
We don't.
So if we need a solid motive, then we should go see someone else.
And it feels like Cartwright or Walker.
Yep.
Because Brenda Walker would have been there doing the typing, probably.
Well, in this, the people working for the bosses and closest with them always know more than the bosses.
agree.
ever
All right,
did.
so it sounds like Miss Walker.
And did
Yeah,
we
okay.
ever see Miss Diggs or Miss the head
We
of
saw
the
Miss Spring, but we didn't see Porter.
Porter? Yeah, either one of them, Porter or
I vote typist.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
I'm good
right.
with that.
She was 30 Northwest.
The lower down the food chain we get, the more information we'll.
Okay.
Hopefully.
So 30
Be right.
Northwest,
That's
Miss
usually
Walker.
how it works.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
Walker,
we're
yeah.
close, though.
Oh no, I was agreeing. I wasn't even being sarcastic.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
it's
No.
tough to tell with me, but
Wow.
No,
Okay.
you're totally right.
Well, I don't know if this is going to close the case for us, but there's definitely a lot of intel here.
Oh, wait. Let me move this to a new page then.
Unfortunately, a lot of this stuff I think we already know.
so we should have started with her.
Yeah,
course.
maybe. Miss Brenda Walker, a small plain
Wait.
woman.
Wait.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, you can continue.
Miss Brenda Walker, a small plain woman in her late 20s with dull brown hair and large eyeglasses, is a bundle of energy. From the speed with which she moves about her flat, one can readily infer that her speed at a typewriter is most prodigious indeed. Accompanying this flurry of activity, plumping pillows and resetting furniture, clearing away knitting, is a steady stream of patter consisting of sympathetic remarks concerning Mr. Tuttle, questions about the progress of our investigation, and speculations as to the identity of the culprit, during which we find it difficult to get a word in edgewise. Then, as abruptly as this veritable pyrotechnic display of sight and sound had begun, it ceases. Miss Walker comes to rest on a small settee, her eyes wide open in expectation, her attitude to us, her attention to us, complete. It leaves us at such a it leaves us at as much of a loss as her former frenetic activity. Yes, Miss Walker, you worked late with Mr. Tuttle and Mr. Swarthmore last evening, is that correct? Certainly. While the firm was drawing up some important contracts, very confidential. Of course, I never read what I type. At least I don't remember it. I just type. Mr. Swarthmore asked me to stay late last evening as Mr. Tuttle, perhaps I should say poor Mr. Tuttle now, had some last-minute revisions and the contracts had to be sent out in the morning. Post haste, I believe the expression was. Well, Mr. Swarthmore was a very imposing individual. I must admit to being slightly afraid of him at times. So when Mr. Swarthmore makes a request, it is really a command in disguise. A very thin disguise, to be sure. Miss Walker? It was a great mistake to pose a broad question to her. If the interview is to continue at anything less than a mad gallop, it is evident that we must frame our specific questions and hope against hope that she will confine her answers to a few well-chosen words. Miss Walker, you were there alone with Mr. Swarthmore and Mr. Tuttle. Yes, imagine me alone with two gorgeous men. Of course, Mr. Swarthmore is quite a bit older and a bit intimidating, but he is a very attractive man and a bachelor. And Mr. Tuttle, one could not say enough about Mr. Tuttle's charms. Tut, tut. Poor Mr. Tuttle. Miss Walker, no one else was in the office beside the three of you. No one else entered while you were there? No one. Now, nothing happened between us, I assure you. We worked is all. You mustn't think. No, of course not. Do you know what time you left? Why, yes, it was exactly 11:15. And Mr. Tuttle handed me up into a cab. Mr. Swarthmore commented on the time and made a joke about me being home before midnight, so as not to turn into a pumpkin or something. I suppose when one considers it, Mr. Swarthmore is very well dashing. He is. The three of you left together, then. Yes. Yes, about the contracts. When were they being sent? I really don't know, I'm afraid. Oh, that's right. You did mention you don't retain what you type. That is curious, isn't it? But in this case, I didn't type the envelopes. Mr. Swarthmore got them from his office and gave them directly to Mr. Tuttle. I believe they were going to various foreign textile firms, although just where I could not say. There was a great deal of secrecy about them. But within the office, it is difficult to keep anything too secret. It's amazing. Contracts were in Mr. Cartwright's sphere, were they not? Why was Mr. Swarthmore, the head of the trust division, involved? Well, Mr. Cartwright left the office very suddenly yesterday morning, and the contracts had to be gotten right out. And I suppose Mr. Swarthmore just took it upon himself to see that they were completed. Do you know anything about Mr. Cartwright's sudden leave of absence? No, not really. I had just been in his office with the morning mail, and he looked fine. Then he came out all pale and sick-looking and left. You know, a person's health is so important, and that was the last you saw of Mr. Cartwright. Yes. A messenger arrived later in the afternoon with a note saying that Mr. Cartwright would be taking a leave of absence, at which time Mr. Swarthmore volunteered to assist Mr. Tuttle with the contracts and asked me to stay and do some last-minute typing. Thank you, Mrs. Walker. You've been most helpful. You're welcome. Oh, silly me. All this time I've forgotten to offer you some refreshment. I could brew up some tea, and I have a fresh-baked pie. I'm a really good cook, even if I do say so myself. My mother always said, oh, no. Very kind of you. Thank you again. Good day.
Ha-ha.
Aha.
Moore is the one who gave the note
To Cartwright. To get him out of the office.
Out of the
to get him
office.
out of the office.
Yep.
Wait, who did?
If Swarthmore had something sent to Cartwright that told him about his wife, so he'd leave the office.
I did not get that from that. It just came.
Swarthmore and Tuttle were definitely playing fast and loose with the contracts to foreign textiles.
Textile stocks are up. Several textile manufacturing companies have posted gains in the past few days, but the leader has been the firm of Heathcliff and Son Limited. The active buying is apparently the result of rumors concerning an imminent merger between this Manchester-based firm and one or more German textile companies. August Heathcliff, president and majority stockholder, could not be reached for comment on the rumors. Ehrman and Engels, another Manchester-based firm, has also shown impressive gains.
Ooh.
Could be.
We want to go talk to Mr. Heathcliff?
I'm wondering.
Because now I'm thinking that it wasn't blackmail,
But
that
essentially,
he
insider
was
trading.
he was selling
Yeah.
he was selling
Yeah.
information to we don't go to Heathcliff. What's the other one that's made the big
That would
gains?
be Ehrman and Engels. That's the Manchester-based firm. That's not the.
That's not London.
oh.
Technology and textile design being a practical treatise on the
What was the
But
one?
yeah, that might. Let's see. August Heathcliff is the president and majority stockholder of. Which one? Of the Manchester of Heathcliff and Son, the Manchester-based firm that's merging, possibly.
Right.
And Ehrman and Engels is the other firm.
That's the one, Ehrman and Engels.
Okay.
Are they here where are they?
Oh, let's see. I don't know.
Textile firms.
I'm looking for an Ehrman. I don't see it.
Okay, well maybe not.
We
it
have an
just
August
seemed-
Heathcliff.
I don't see textile firms in here.
I'm wondering.
What was the name of the firm?
Ehrman and Engels.
No, the
Both
Heathcliff
starting with
firm.
E.
Heathcliff and Sons.
Heathcliff and Sons.
Okay.
That one you should remember.
Yeah.
Ehrman.
In
Nope,
which
there's
case,
no- There's
Would
no Ehrman and no Engels.
if
that
it's
I-
not bank, if it's not blackmail, then the bank might tell us where he's getting this money.
They only know if it came in a check that they cashed. Otherwise,
Yeah.
he's just bringing cash.
Right? But
I'm kind of thinking we need to go back to Cartwright and see if we ask him about the contracts, if he'll tell us stuff. because
Oh,
he
and
was
go to the club?
And if they needed him out of the office, yeah.
That assumes he's actually at the club.
I also
Yeah.
think
And if he's involved, why would he tell us?
I don't think he's
he's
involved. I
involved.
think I
Yeah.
think they needed him out of the way so that they could.
Oh,
Make some adjustments.
if we go back though,
Right.
the letter that sent him running came in with the post.
Right.
But Mr. Swarthmore brought out the envelopes to give directly to Mr. Tuttle to send
Is he
for
already-
the contracts.
Right.
So
You
there's,
already had these things made.
I don't know for sure we should assume that they got Cartwright out of the office. I think that was just a bit of dumb bad luck.
Could be.
I would. I like the theory though. I think.
Yeah.
It just feels like Heathcliff and the textiles thing is.
Huge.
But did he go into his own office or did he go into Cartwright's office? Did it specify? I didn't make a
Got
note.
them from his office and gave them directly to Mr. Tuttle.
Who did?
Yeah, but they finished it up that night
Swarthmore.
before. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
So
What
he had the stuff made up, but
they made it up the
Cartwright
night
was
before.
not involved in that
Oh, okay.
necessarily. They were in Swarthmore's office.
I'm very curious.
Be... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you.
I was wondering, would there be somebody in our list of everyday people that we could talk to that would know more about that?
We've got Scotland Yard, National Archives, Archives of Birth, Death, Wills, Legal Affairs and Trials, Illegal Affairs and Criminals, Moriarty, Journalist at the Times, Journalist at the Police Gazette, Mycroft with Concerns of Government, Society Columnist, Cabbies, London Library, Holmes himself.
I think I could be swayed to go either to see Cartwright or to go see the Heathcliff.
I mean, I'm good on either of those.
Yeah, I wonder if Heathcliff is, because Cartwright's come up more often and it seems to be in line with something in the business in his section, would he know more about it than Heathcliff, which it kind of feels like was stumbled upon, although probably not.
There's not any strange obituaries, is there?
Let me look.
No.
No, but we're about where we're gonna have to. I think we're not gonna get much
Yeah, we're
further.
gonna
I
have to
think
make
we
a-
need to make a call.
Let's do the Cartwright thing. If we're on the fence, I'm going to say let's do that. If
right.
people really want to go do the other one, then I'm okay with it. But
to the club.
Yeah.
To the club. What was it called again?
the
Criterion Club?
Criterion
Club.
Club.
yes.
That sounds promising.
Criterion Club.
When
The
you-
Criterion.
when you don't know what's going on,
3
everything's
Southwest.
3 Southwest. The Criterion Club. 3 Southwest. Ah, there it is. Okay. Ooh, buckle up. By somewhat overstating the case, namely that we are part of an official Scotland Yard investigation, we are able to wheedle our way past the doorman of the Criterion Club. Wiggins repeats the exaggeration of the club manager, Mr. Neville Gibson, and it seems to thaw his rather frosty exterior. Mr. Cartwright indeed has been with us since yesterday, says Mr. Gibson. He bends his 6'5" frame over it conspiratorially. He has remained in his room the entire time. Meals have been sent up sporadically, and decanters of Scotch whiskey have been sent up quite regularly. We impress upon Mr. Gibson the necessity of talking to Mr. Cartwright. He directs us to his room. Our knock on the door is answered after a few moments by a very disheveled man in his late 50s. Small and portly, his silver gray hair is uncombed, and his eyes quite bloodshot. Mr. Cartwright, we have come to ask you some questions concerning the murder of Melvin Tuttle. He looks at us for a moment, blinking, and then gestures for us to enter. As we walk past him, he grabs Wiggins' arms to stop him. His eyes are wide with disbelief as the fog momentarily lifts. What did you say? The murder of Melvin Tuttle? When we nod the affirmative, he stumbles away to sink in a chair, grasping for it like a man drowning for a piece of floating debris. Would you tell us why you left the office so suddenly yesterday? Personal, he mumbles. I received a note, very distressing. He waves toward the dresser. On it are an almost empty decanter of whiskey, a revolver, and a note. He makes no objection when Wiggins picks up the typed note and reads, "Everything she needs has Mrs. C. Furs and jewels and even MT. While the husband works, the wife will play, and thus runs the world away." Without our prompting, Mr. Cartwright begins to speak. I was completely blind to it, of course, but the note brought all into focus. All the hints and half-hints that I saw but did not recognize became clear and real. I was so wrapped up in my work, I went home to speak to my wife, but she was out. The longer I waited, the less courage I had to face her. I was angry and sad and guilty all at once. I took the gun out of my study desk and somehow ended up here. Couldn't use it, though. Does my wife know of Tuttle's death? Yes. She must be very alone now. She told us to tell you that she loves you and that she'll make it up to you. Perhaps, says Cartwright, rising, we can make it up to each other.
Well, that was dead end. I'm so sorry. I apologize for all the points I cost you.
No, me too.
Well, then, Heathcliff and Sons,
Sure, why not?
Yep.
run.
What the
Let's
hell?
In for a penny, in for a pound, right?
I feel good
Yep.
about
Okay, Augustus Heathcliff. I just was looking at that. We always start really strong, and then we get to the spot where it's like, now what?
Yeah.
And I think we
There's
just
that one piece of information.
need to trust our guts, because half the time we're right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that other half the time, that'll kill you.
Yeah. Well, the
And
problem,
honestly, if you don't go to one of the right people, in
Early.
the first 2 or 3 moves, you're not going to have a chance at beating.
like
it's
not
very
going
luck
to
based.
the victim's house.
Yeah. That one's gonna haunt us.
But we did this time, and it was useful, but it hasn't solved the case for us. So
Right.
True. Okay. We are greeted at the door by Mr. Heathcliff's pillared town.
this pillared town.
We are greeted at the door of Mr. Heathcliff's pillared townhouse by the butler. Looking
That's
at us
better.
from under drooping eyelids and down a long nose, he inquires as to our business. It seems that our reply is barely adequate, for it is only with a great deal of reluctance that we are shown into the foyer. I will tell Mr. Heathcliff of your arrival if you would care to wait in the library. At the foot of the marble staircase, he turns back to us and says ominously, "Please do not touch anything."
touch everything.
Properly chastened, we enter the library. It is a vast room lined with books from the floor to its 12-foot ceiling.
That's how you get the Rona.
In the center is a long mahogany table, polished to a mirror-like sheen. The room is, as is intended to be, most impressive. Made all the more so by the fact that not a single spine of any volume has ever been cracked.
Buttered
Yes.
wholesale for the looks.
What can I do for you?
Yeah.
We turn to see a smallish man in his mid-50s. His head is a touch too small for his body, and his hands and feet are quite tiny. He presents a rather odd picture in all. Mr. Heathcliff, if you could give us some information on the contracts being prepared for you and your associates by the firm of Sloane, Swarthmore, and Cartwright? Turning to the butler, Mr. Heathcliff explodes. What's going on here? Those contracts were to be kept highly confidential, and now it seems that everyone and his brother knows about them. He tosses his dainty hands up in exasperation and turns back to us. Oh, well, I suppose there's no harm at this stage. As I told the other fellow some 8 months ago, Sir Sidney Sloane undertook the very delicate negotiations for a merger between several English and German textile companies. Once all the principals had made known their wants and needs and a common ground was agreed upon, Mr. Whitney Cartwright drew up the contracts to effect the merger. In anticipation of your question, yes, a considerable sum of money was involved. No, the firm never directly handled any part of my money, excepting, of course, their fee, which was considerable enough, let me tell you. And finally, I dealt exclusively with Mr. Cartwright throughout the contract stage. And while I was surprised to hear of Mr. Swarthmore's involvement, it has had no material effect on the final form of the contracts. I do wish you fellows could get together. I'm sure a lot of time could have been saved. And this other fellow, sir, who was he? Maitland. Maitland. What was his name? Mr. Sherlock Holmes, I believe, sir, replies the butler. Sherlock, we correct. Mr. Sherlock Holmes, the consulting detective. Whoever, says Heathcliff. A tall man, funny coat. He seemed more interested in the envelope than the contract. Sniffed it, seemed satisfied with its odor, and asked to keep it. Most peculiar.
Oh.
Now, if that's all, Maitland will show you the door. Mr. Heathcliff turns on his heel and exits the library. On our way out, we are tempted to overturn a vase or some such just to confirm Maitland's worst thoughts about us.
I mean, maybe I will.
It crashes to the floor, shattering in 1,000 pieces. We dash through the doorway before Maitland might respond.
Victory!
I would love to say that's what was in there, but no. But it works just as well.
I don't know that it does.
You know how they applied the poison, don't we?
Although, this is how it actually ends. Do come again, says Maitland, with all the sincerity of Henry VIII speaking the marriage vows. That's some pretty good
That's
writing there,
almost
too.
as good.
That is almost good. That's pretty good.
Well, that settles that. I think, ladies and gentlemen, we are prepared.
Because he licked the
The
envelope.
envelope.
He licked it and he sent it out that morning.
Yep.
I was like, how could it be on the envelope? Because Cartwright or the other guy, Swarthmore, brought it out of the office, but he licked the envelope this morning.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Because when she went in, she got the correspondence
Yeah.
in the mail and took it out and gave it
Yep.
to Bryce.
Yep. Yeah. So this was a good stop. This was a very good stop.
This
Now,
is a really good
The
stuff.
last question
I
is
apologize for Cartwright.
why?
I think we.
Why? Because he didn't want to share the money. I don't know. Either Swarthmore wanted the contract stuff for himself, or Tuttle was going to give him away. I think Tuttle was going to sell him out.
Sorry to have missed that. Welcome aboard, Adam. Don't believe his lies. That's a pretty standard shtick.
Mm.
Okay. So the why?
Why? So
Well,
I say we resolve.
And the
Let's
why
solve
being
for 100
blackmail?
bucks.
it was the money from the contracts. Yeah, it was had to have been.
What were they looking for, though?
Oh, it is place.
Who looking for?
Whoever was rummaging through all of his stuff. They rummaged through his apartment. They rummaged through his, or was rummaging through his stuff at the club, or the bath, whatever.
Okay.
I wonder if they were looking for a contract that
How about we
or
say
proof that he was insider trading.
so selling secrets,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is
yeah.
consistent with the letters from the fiance that he's about to make a lot of money
Yeah.
because he's helping this other firm catch up on the textile front now that he's in on it.
Yep. Yep.
Yes.
I like that.
Okay, so our final answers
So
are
much better than blackmail.
yeah,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Yes.
And again, very clue.
Okay. So our final answers are who? Swarthmore. How? Poisoned envelopes. Why? Selling secrets. Tuttle was selling secrets about the trade they were in. The accomplice was was Mr. Livingston.
Then?
The engagement was to a Virginia Monroe. The Cartwright left because he received a typed letter telling him of the affair. I'm going to guess it was from the secretary.
Could have been. Yep.
Probably the typist who doesn't pay attention to what she types.
Right.
To be honest, when I'm editing a podcast, half the time I don't know what was talked about. So this completely tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're typing stuff, you just wait. Yeah. You're not really,
paying attention to the context. You're just typing the letters and
right.
Especially in that day and age where typing was really just you see a letter, you hit a key. You see a letter, you hit a key,
Yeah.
and you just do that really fast.
And
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Spring went to see Tuttle that morning to return a present after their breakup. Diggs's hobby is gardening.
yes.
Here we go. We are gathered once again at 221B Baker Street to listen to Holmes's explanation of the case. Standing by the mantel, he draws deeply on his pipe and begins. While Mr. Tuttle's untimely death was indeed tragic, his rapid rise seemed to me far more significant. 2.5 years from junior clerk to junior partner in one of the very best legal firms in London, most unusual to say the least. Such was my thinking after Lestrade's visit. What about the two women? Asks Watson. Did you discount them as suspects from the beginning? Well, Miss Spring was in love with Tuttle, or at least Such an inference could be drawn from her reaction to Tuttle's death, her use of his first name, for example. While poison might be considered by some as a woman's weapon, it is hardly the weapon of a crime of passion. As for Mrs. Porter, let me say that I found her story singularly unimaginative, if it was to be considered anything but truth. From Professor Murray, I learned that the poison was indeed involved, more to the point a very rare poison. Also that none of the substances had actually contained it. Rather, Tuttle ingested by some other means, transferred traces to the tea, pipestem, and biscuit. The discrepancy behind a high concentration on the cup lip, as opposed to the relatively low amount on the tea itself, allowed for no other explanation. Pursuing the theory that Mr. Tuttle's swift advancement was instrumental in his murder, I needed more information on the circumstances. Who better than to supply that than Mrs. Porter? From her, I learned 3 important things.
We didn't talk to her.
First, Tuttle was no genius, capable, hardworking, but hardly brilliant enough to explain his rapid rise. Second, a hint of curious nepotism. Tuttle's connection with Mrs. Cartwright presented an interesting scenario. At some time in the past, Tuttle was asked to escort Miss Cartwright to some social function, and Mr. Cartwright was busy with business matters. Where others might resent such after-hours duty, Tuttle saw it as a golden opportunity. He was a charmer, and he used that charm to the fullest. Perhaps the relationship ripened into an affair. The note on Tuttle's desk hints as much. Mrs. Cartwright then went to work on her husband. Over a period of time, her unstinting praise had its effect on Mr. Cartwright. He began to believe, without really realizing how or why, that Tuttle was an extraordinary fellow. Brilliant, in fact, and deserved to be promoted. You have just outlined a perfect scenario for murder, says Watson. Husband finds out the truth, takes an unscheduled leave of absence, plans and executes a crime. True, Watson, replies Holmes, but there's an unanswered question provoked by the third bit of information. Both Mr. Cartwright and Mr. Swarthmore were party to the decision to promote Tuttle. Remember now, Mr. Swarthmore does not see Tuttle with Mrs. Cartwright's eyes. Why would he decide in Tuttle's favor? What did Tuttle have on him? In any case, while suspects abound, there was still no solution to the method of crime. Perhaps Miss Brenda Walker, the staff typist, would shed some light on that score. She, Swarthmore, and Tuttle worked late the previous evening. It took some doing, considering Mrs. Walker's volubility. But there I struck gold, the envelopes provided by Mr. Swarthmore. Tuttle finished the contract, sealed up the envelopes, and was relaxing with his pipe just as Mrs. Porter brought him his tea. She noted the trembling in his hand as he was lighting his pipe, the first symptom of the poisonous assault on his nervous system. Due to the potency of the poison involved, Tuttle would have to have ingested it immediately before Mrs. Porter's entrance. Since all other substances proved negative, it had to have been the gum on the envelopes. The tea, although innocent itself, served to wash the poison down into Tuttle's stomach, accelerating the process. A brilliant plan, all things considered. The murder weapon, as it were, was mailed away to be consigned to the nearest wastebasket, totally untraceable in a day or two. Unfortunately for Mr. Swarthmore, one was posted locally. It was a simple matter to obtain Mr. Heathcliff's address from the directory, obtain the envelope, and test it for Chinaberry in my own laboratory. In one fell swoop, I had the murderer and the method, but the motive remained a mystery. Some connection between Tuttle and Swarthmore had to be discovered, and so I was off to Scotland Yard to inspect the contents of his desk. While there were a number of interesting items, a locker key from Bell's bath seemed the most significant. You recall that Swarthmore had an appointment at Bell's the morning of the murder. After paying my fee to old Jack, I learned that Swarthmore was particularly interested in Tuttle's locker. He was looking for something. Also, Mr. Cedric Livingston entered the case, now a builder and land developer, but formerly a seaman. He sailed in the Orient, probably the South Seas. It took a little imagination to see that Livingston was Swarthmore's link to the rare poison. And if Livingston was party to the murder, he must have been party to whatever Tuttle had over Swarthmore. What were they looking for in Tuttle's locker? Might a clue be found in Tuttle's home? As I expected, Tuttle's flat had been thoroughly ransacked by the time I arrived. It was heartening to note, however, that not a corner of the place had been left unturned. It indicated the intruders had not found what they were looking for. Had they, the debris would have ended at the point they had it. The letters from VM proved most significant. They tell an interesting story and explain Tuttle's ferocious need to get ahead. VM, the initials on the more expansive of the two lockets, was the love of Tuttle's life despite his other dalliances. Might he not entrust his valuable level of advancement to her. The return addresses was suspect. If the father objected to the liaison, probably the address trusted friend would not be her own. A quick look at the directory showed only one VM listed, Virginia Monroe. I'm going to double check that later. Ginny being diminutive of Virginia. At the Monroe home, the why of the murder came to light. Mr. Swarthmore was using his power of attorney over certain trust funds in his keeping to undersell land to Mr. Livingston, which he in turn either kept for his own use or sold back to the trust under Swarthmore's care for a large profit. Tuttle evidently discovered the scheme, probably by quite accident, and after compiling a dossier for the Office of Records, the notation. Chancery Lane, second floor, Disraeli O'Brien on the slip of paper, and the 2 trust files in the desk refers to the Office of Records. Tuttle confronted Swarthmore. Tuttle was paid off in cash, as his bank account attests, and more importantly, by being promoted. Perhaps Tuttle was dissatisfied with his share, perhaps a simple fall of knowledge was too much for Swarthmore and Livingston. And so ends the case of the Solicitous Solicitor.
Was blackmail.
It was blackmail.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I knew we should have talked to the girl. I knew
Yep.
it.
You were right.
The girl.
Okay, but here's the
And yes, there is
Actually, it
only
was
one
good news.
VM in the.
Yeah. Well, could have been her, but we could have gotten it from his desk stuff at Scotland Yard.
So,
True, yeah.
20 points for
No.
Swarthmore.
Scotland Yard only gave the key to the bathhouse.
That's
And
right.
the
Oh, that's-
lockets
but it had
and
the lockets,
the
yeah.
letter, so the contents of his desk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't have the
Because
lock.
he had the trust, right? He had the 2, yeah.
Mm.
Okay,
Oh, well.
so we got that. We got that. The accomplice, we got that. The engagement, we got that. Why did he take off? The note about the affair. What was it? Return a present. It was the locket that was previously mentioned. I still think we get credit for that. The hobby,
Yeah.
gardening, 10 points.
Yep.
Do we want to give ourselves any points for saying selling secrets?
Well, it was
Technically, he did,
it was
right?
misusing the information. We were guessing contracts instead of trusts. It was
No, I don't care either way.
This says
Whatever
no.
y'all want to do.
We had originally said blackmailing, and then
we
But
did.
we
And we
changed
did
our
say
mind.
blackmailing
So,
with
so
swap.
partial
I think
credit
half
as 5
credit.
out of 20?
Yeah,
I say half credit.
I think because we knew it was something blackmailing, whatever with stress.
Liz looks pained and disappointed, so we're going to put 0.
Oh.
20,
Yeah, but
40,
Sarah, what are
60,
you talking
80,
about?
100. Okay, so here's the good news. Our score, before we figure our steps, is 110,
Oh,
which means we are definitely going to score more than 7.
More than
more than
7.
7.
We got more than 7. Now, Holmes went to the following locations. So these do not count against us. 22 Southwest, the criminologist. He visited Mrs. Porter. We did not. He went to Miss Walker,
Which we did.
which we did. He saw Mr. Heathcliff, obviously, because, and that was right at the end of the case, too. Scotland Yard, we did not. Bell's Baths,
We did.
we did. Tuttle's apartment, we
We
did.
did.
And finally, Miss Monroe, we did not. And we probably should have been smart enough to not have to go see the good house first.
Yeah.
So that's penalties for not following the most optimum case: 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, which still lands us at an impressive 75%.
Take it.
I'll take it.
Hooray.
I will absolutely take it. That was, and we should have followed our guts in the blackmail.
My wonderful notes.
Nice.
Nice.
Love it.
because we were right on that, and we talked ourselves out of it.
Another page.
Yeah, we had most of it.
We never connected it. Oh, we never connected it to the trust because we figured since Swarthmore went in to help with the contracts, it was something with the contract.
That was a blind. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was something with the business. We knew somehow it was. Well, we assumed it was blackmail for a while.
Yeah. And we probably would have
So we
picked
just
that
never
up
got that connection
from the ones that we didn't make was Scotland Yard.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet, and we didn't talk to Monroe. Monroe probably does say this is what was that probably dumps the dirt on the blackmail.
So the reasoning we had for going to the address to talk to her was sound. We just never followed up with talking to her because we're like,
Right,
oh,
we
it's
should've
probably not going to be.
Right, we should have kept going on that.
Yeah.
Well, it's consistent with the way the game runs too, because we would have gotten to her eventually, and we would have skipped a step if we'd looked for the VMs and gone, this is the VM we're supposed to go see.
There's only one Monroe in the directory too. Well, there's two, but they both live at the same address. So it's her and her dad.
So why did we
Makes
go?
sense. We just talked about it.
Huh. Oh well.
Yeah, why didn't we go there?
I don't.
I think as we were at that stage, we were into the late moments, and we were like, you know what, we're wrapping this up. We're done.
Yeah, I think we were like, well, okay, we know that was an affair. We need to go talk to Cartwright and see if he has any information on the contracts, and then we followed that lead.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we had the name for the fiance, and then at that point, because of the blind with it, following the address, we thought it was just going to be a confirmation and not a lot of information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bummer. 75's good.
Oh yeah, way better than 7.
Has a 7 in it. That counts, right?
We ended
our
well.
7. Last one was our 7% solution.
Oh.
Yeah, the 6 hours to get to 7 out of 100. That was the worst of it. So let's see. Today is 2/8/21 solved with Jenny plus crew. And our score was 75 out of 100. Okay. It is documented. We have one more. And then we have to figure out what we're going to do with the box. Because we will have completed all 10 mysteries. And I think we are obligated somewhere to pay it forward.
I think so, yeah.
Fun.
Probably put our address in it somewhere so that once it's made like 5 rounds, send it back. We just want to know how it turned out.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Email
That's dangerous, man. Never put your email in anything.
Tell us your score.
Your actual address.
Oh, that's true. Post office box.
Post
okay.
office.
I'm looking at my friends that are currently on tonight. And I'm thinking from here, there's not going to be a lot of interest in going to watch Dead by Daylight. And I don't know enough about these other people to know if they're like where they're at. So I'm going to send you to my go-to at this hour, which would be Raven. He is the gentleman who streams while cosplaying as Captain Jack Sparrow, and it's just an uplifting experience. Hang around, you'll be singing shanties and laughing and hooting and hollering, amongst many other things. So we're gonna go there from here. He's a great guy. I'm trying to get him to come on for a game of D&D. So that's my hopes, is to get him for a one shot at some point. So thank you for everyone coming out tonight. Thank you for you guys. Any parting wisdoms before we sign off?
Nope.
Nope. It was just
always be nice to the hired help. That's the
Start with the secretaries. That's
yeah.
That's legitimate advice. And hopefully we all get together again soon for this, because I think we're a good crew.
Yeah.
I think we have kind of a dream team going here. We will all be in touch for our next get together.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Cool. Yay.
Well, and whenever that is next, tomorrow I'll be back here for the happy hour at the Old Timer Tavern. I think we're talking about, I don't know what we're talking about, but we're talking about something for happy hour. And then D&D is back on Sunday night with a one shot as an interlude between our main campaign.
Hooray.
So, until we all get together again, folks, please wear a mask. And above all else, keep you and the ones you care about safe.